Hi, guys. Good afternoon. Good evening. How are you guys doing? I got trying to get this stuff together. Sorry about that. I got my headphone on. I don't plan on being too loud tonight because this girl's doing work. All right, here we go. Hi, guys. How you doing? Hey, Lavelle. Hey, Unique Thoughts. Hey, Denitra. Just want to say hello to everybody. Hey, Rhoda. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Jana, Elizabeth. Trial and Tribulation. Hey, 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 Penelope. Hey, Tanya, Lakitha. Hello, Dogman. Hello, Sweet Tooth. Lala, Woman of God. Steffi for Justice. All right, guys. Hey, Good Design, Woman of God. Just gonna try to wait till a couple of more people come in. Um, I'm gonna start just saying, Lord, help Robert. Lord, help Robert Sylvester Kelly. Hey, little Rico. Hey, you, hey, you digging me? You digging me? You funny. You know that, right? Hey, lovable Leo. Okay. Just gonna wait a few more minutes for some more people to come in, because when can you guys hear me well? Because I know this mic. I gotta stay on this mic because of Dallas. She's working. Hey, Miss Prissy. Hey, Champel. Okay. Hey, Miss Brown. Hey, Shannon. Oh, my neck is like cracking. Hey, Tim. Oh, my back. I've been sitting down all day. Okay, I had to snap it. All right, guys. Here we go. We got 64 people in the chat. Hey, Kim. All right, 75 folks in the chat now. I'm hoping I can get a phone call today. I'm hoping that I get a phone call. Some of you guys know what's happening right now. Some of you guys know what's happening right now. Thursday, Robert has a hearing, and the hearing has to do with the whole attorney situation. Okay. Then the past couple of days, I would say about a week, there is an individual who actually worked with Steve Greenberg, and he has been revealing a lot of things on the Twitter world, and hopefully I will be able to have him tonight. I did reach out to him, and hopefully he'll return my message. So in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and bring you guys what I have. My neck is hurting. Oh, I feel stressed because all of this stuff that's going on, but I don't know where to begin, but I'm going to begin somewhere. I guess I better begin from the beginning, right? It is my understanding that Stephen Greenberg came on board to help Robert with his royalties. That's my understanding based on what was being said in the street. In the process of him working to try to get Robert his royalty, the whole R. Kelly, surviving R. Kelly came about, and Robert was arrested after Kim Fox went abroad and did a call for individuals who may have been or whatever she made a call to people to come out and basically say that they have had some sort of inappropriate relations or whatever with Robert, right? I don't know who recommended him. I'm not sure, but we need to find out who recommended him. Hopefully that will come out. But anyway, um Robert was arrested, and that was for the state. So Steve, I don't know how Robert decided to put him as the attorney to handle the situation, because he came on a board as a entertainment attorney to try to get him his royalties, right? So according to what I've heard, that he was able to get some money flowing in for Robert. Okay. Money started by the time July came around. Robert was arrested again, but this time by the federal government. Right. And to make a long story short, it's almost 2 years and Robert is still incarcerated. Okay. Each time a bond hearing came about, it was all denied. Each time it was denied, denied, denied. There was a couple of times that we were like so frustrated when we went to court, and we thought he could have did a better job, and he did not. Okay. Came out upset. Just, you guys, the supporters, you know what happened at the court, right? So, we were trying to figure out, why isn't he not why is he not putting a strong effort in trying to get Robert a bond? He would make stupid motions that didn't make sense. There was that one time he talked about the two girlfriends and all this kind of stuff that didn't make sense. But we're not attorneys. We don't know what the law is. We don't know what to say, so we just let it go, right? We let it go. Last year sometime, we got so frustrated. I went to a judge. God rest his soul. He's deceased now because he died from COVID. But I went to a judge, a retired judge that I knew, and I was telling him about the situation with Robert. And he gave me some tips, right? And one of those tips was for us as a people to show that he was not a risk, a danger to the community. So we got together, me and a couple of people got together. One person did the letter, and we found a website. A person found a website for us to do a petition. And in the petition, we asked for 1,000 signature, and we wanted it within 24 hours. We met the deadline, and we went over the 1,000 signatures for the petition. Got it together. I send it to Steve. I send it to Doug. I send it to Michael at the time. I send it to those attorneys. And the petition was ignored when he went to file for the motion for bond. Okay. Nothing was provided. Got frustrated and just couldn't understand what was happening. Then rolled around, October comes around, and there's this Brady law that came in, it's not a brand new law, but it was some changes that was made, and it was put onto the files and, in the government. So long story short, I brought it to the attention of Lisa Kelly, and she contacted Steve and asked him about it. He tried to belittle her in regards to it and saying that didn't have anything to do with Robert, blah, 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 blah. Right? And so again, he ignored our request. He ignored everything that is being requested for to help Robert. Okay. We're not attorneys, so we're relying on his expertise as an attorney because we're not. All I can do is give, get information from people that I know that are attorney. They give me some guidance, and then, I never went back to the judge because the judge ended up passing away, and so I could never go back and say, "Hey, why, this happened or such a thing." He passed away, so he never did anything with the Brady law thing. Then a motion was filed to sequester the jury, right? So just to sequester, partially sequester the jury, whatever. That was put out. The judge ruled on it on October 8th, and the judge decided to grant the government the to be able to sequester the jury, right? Miss Sylvia, sit back on your glasses. Sit back. Your computer's on your glasses. My computer. Oh, no. Sit back. No, no. It's whatever we're showing here. No, it's okay. It's right here. It's what I'm showing you guys. Okay, it's okay. She's, she said, "Glad." Sit back. Okay. Um. So, uh, the judge granted the sequencer of the juror. Um, there was no rebuttal to that motion. Okay. Then he turns around in January. Remember, the motion was granted, and the judge put an order in October 8th. He goes in January and tried to. You have a glare. I'm good. I'm good. So then January he goes and put in a motion to object to what the judge had already put an order in, right? So the judge turned around and says, you wait 3 months to object to something when you only had 14 days to object to it. He never did anything with it during the 14 days. He waited 3 months later to do something, to say something about it. So the judge said, even if I decide to do it, you're way too late anyway. Okay. And then not only were you too late, you didn't bring anything that would help your client's case to be for my ruling to be overturned. That was done in March, right? So lo and behold, a few months later, Tasha K comes out and she starts spilling the bean about Daryl Johnson. Okay. She spilled the beans saying that Daryl Johnson was a con artist, and that he swindled a whole bunch of people for money. And then during one of her interviews, she interviewed a young lady who gave Robert bond. She interviewed her, and then at that point, we find out that supposedly there was some monies that was supposed to be offered for Robert to do that interview with Gayle King. Supposedly, it's supposed to pay $1 million underneath the table. Robert never received that money. Daryl Johnson has since disappeared. He's no longer seen. We don't know where he is or anything like that, but there's a trail of people who are trying to get their money back as he is a con artist. Okay. The strangest thing was that how did Daryl Johnson come about to be part of this case with Robert Sylvester Kelly? Who gave him the okay to even say he represent Robert Sylvester Kelly? Okay, guys, I'll answer y'all question because I'm getting distracted from what I'm saying, trying to read what you guys are saying out here. Okay. Um, So who, brought him about to even be the spokesperson for Robert, right? Um, then when he gets fired, he goes and said that he never worked for Robert. He worked for Greenberg, right? When Greenberg also turned around on his Twitter or whatever, he goes and say that no, not just Twitter. He went on live television saying that basically Daryl Johnson went to go take care of his mother, sick mother, or whatever, blah 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 blah. So that's supposedly what happened, right? Um, then turn around, we find out that Daryl Johnson is a real crook, a crook. You saw him do a press conference and with Timothy Savage was out there. It was like, to me it seemed like it was a joke, a bunch of a set of a fake movie play, you know what I mean? So he turned around and he goes and say, well, Tim Savage came out there. I don't know how these people are being able to get on the press. I don't know how they have all this connection, but I know something is happening. I know somebody with some big long dollars having all these people as part of the plot. And I'm gonna say plot because people say don't say setup because setup means somebody's guilty. Well, the plot to come, the plot for the conspiracy to try to get Robert Sylvester Kelly, because Robert Sylvester Kelly is a reflection of manhood, okay, relationship, family, and all that kind of stuff. Because people say his music helped people to make babies and things like that. So to make the plot, yes, exactly. So to make a long story short, I'm coming back to where I started. There is an individual who's been on Twitter, tweeting a lot, and it caught my attention a few times. I try to reach out to me because whenever I see something going on, I will reach out to the person and say, "Hey, can we have a conversation? I would love to interview you because I am a supporter of Robert Sylvester Kelly, and I see some of the stuff that's going on." First, I want to first before I do say anything, before I start showing anything, I'm just going to give honor to God and give glory to God. Let me tell you why. Because ever since we've been praying, ever since we've been fasting after the fast, stuff started being revealed. And I got to give honor to God, y'all. Nobody else get the credit but God. So I have to take my moment and say thank God for revealing the things that were done in secret, the things that's been done in the dark. Because if it has not been for God revealing so many things and people coming out of the woodwork showing things, we wouldn't be where we are. Okay. Um, and I thank God for opening Robert's eyes. I thank God for opening a lot of people's eyes because he is doing all this. Not us, not man, but he, God. Because this man has been sitting on this information for years and never said anything. Okay. All the stuff that has been happening was around for years. And then all of a sudden, after we've been praying and asking God to reveal, open doors, and protecting Robert, everything starts coming out. And that's why I have to give God the glory. I got to give him the praise because he deserves it. Nobody else but him. Okay. So I thank you, Lord, for allowing everything to be revealed. And we know everything under the sun is going to be revealed about what's going on with Robert. Okay. Now, Mr. Joel Borowski, he was an attorney that was on a case with Stephen Greenberg. And you guys remember Peterson. Peterson was the police officer who been accused of killing his wife, okay? Yesterday, I read his letter in complaint of what how he felt about Steve and how Steve was more into the getting himself onto the public light than helping his client. Okay. Then I read some of the stuff that Joel Borowski was saying. So this morning when I got up, I got a couple of messages. Shout out to supporters who send me stuff. Shout out those who send me emails and things like that. So I got a message, and the message was something that was like so revealing in regarding to Stephen Greenberg. Okay. I'm going to show you guys text. Some people already have seen this text and some people have not. So I'm going to take my time to show you guys, and I'm going to explain to you guys some of the stuff that's happening. And you guys know, on as of Wednesday, I mean this Thursday, there's going to be a hearing because Robert fired Greenberg. He didn't fire Michael originally, but Greenberg basically said, "Avi, if I'm gone, Leonard's coming along with me." And if you notice the last interview Leonard had, he was more praising Robert, but Greenberg has been trying to throw people under the bus. He's been sneaking to different outlet because the news media will let him talk, but it will not let people like us, who is on Robert's side, to talk, right? So he's been pulling stuff in the past in regards to Tom Farinella. Okay, he's trying to bring Tom's past history involved in this because he's angry and he is not going out without a fight. So where he rather sabotage Robert and sabotage his attorneys and make them look bad. Okay. This is something he is used to doing because if you look back at the old case with Peterson, he did the same thing. I'm going to show you guys all of this, okay? He did the same thing to in Peterson case. When he did disagree with someone, he would go on to the news and make the person look bad, right? So, guys, moderators, anybody that comes in talking negative, block them. Don't just time them out, block them. So they don't have to can't say anything in here, okay? Because this is serious right now, and I know they're going to come in, they're going to try to distract. Just block them, okay? I just want to say that. So, he decides he wants to taint Nicole Blank Becker's name and Thomas Farinella name. That he wants to sabotage them. He wants to destroy the work that they're doing. Okay. He wants to make them look bad. Okay. When we were on the call listening to the hearing, you saw how he was allowed to say what he wanted to say. But when other people start to say stuff, they was like shutting them down. And I'm not saying that the protocol was correct and all that, but I've heard in the past where people blurted out things and the judge said something to them about, hey, who was talking, who's this? But you never heard it in the news about that, right? But all of a sudden, when Nicole did it, it's big news, which it was something very, very minor, y'all. It was very, very minor, but they trying to make it as if Nicole and Tom is supposedly incompetent. That's what they're trying to do. Okay. Oscar, I hope you're not trying to be negative because you're about to get blocked. Okay? You're about to get blocked. I'm serious. So I tread lightly. Okay? It's a privilege to be in here. If you're gonna not respect the channel, you're gonna get blocked, okay? This is not a time for you to give me your opinion. You don't have to be here. Okay? All right. So when the thing is, I've heard other attorneys blurt out without without saying their name, but that never made news. It never made news at all, right? And I'm not saying that it's perfect or whatever. It never made news. But all of a sudden, when Nicole does it. It's big news, supposedly big news. It's a distraction, and I understand it. I understand they want to distract because you got attorneys who really want to fight for Robert instead of attorneys who's being part of the plot. Okay? And let me tell you why I say Steve is part of the plot. Okay? Not only did he he submitted motions that did not make sense, but he played a role in things that should have been done and he blocked it. He made sure that Robert has spent almost 2 years in prison because they gave him a plea deal and Robert did not take the plea deal. Regardless, I mean, let me explain something. When you take on the responsibility of representing your client, you have to represent them to the fullest, regardless of how you feel about a person. You represent them to the fullest. Okay? To the fullest. Okay? All right? And they could leave. Guys, like I said, block and move on if they don't want to listen, okay? Block and move on. Because if you can't be respectful in this channel, you don't need to be here. And I'm not playing. I'm just serious. This is not a time for me to play with people. Okay? So I'm getting ready to show you some stuff, right? In regards to Steve Greenberg. Okay. There's a lot of documents here, a lot of document. Okay. I'm going to bring up this particular email first, and then I'm going to explain this email to you guys because it will give you a little light of what's going on. Okay. Okay. I'm going to share this with you guys. Can you guys see this? Can you? Oh, y'all can't see it. Hold on. Make it a little bigger. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see that? Let me move myself out the way. Yeah, can you guys see that? Okay. This is from Mr. Joel Brodsky. Mr. Joel Brodsky. See the name at the bottom? Okay. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to show you some things. Okay. It says here. Here are Greenberg's safety deposit box record and the transcript from his disposition and divorce case, which shows he moved hundreds and thousands of dollars, if not million, in cash through the boxes. I hope you can get this out broadly. He took skimmed cash from his criminal clients and didn't disclose on his taxes. Did he make a deal with the government so they will not prosecute? Something worth exploring. Do you guys just hear that? Did you guys just hear that? Would you like me to read it again to you? Do you guys want me to read that to you guys again? Did y'all just hear what I just said? This is from Joel Brodsky, and I'm waiting for him to come on because he said he would come on to be interviewed. But I just want to show you this, okay? I'm going to read it again, okay? Here we go. He said, here are Greenberg's safety deposit box records and the transcript of his disposition and divorce case, which shows that he moved hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in cash through the boxes. I hope you can get this out broadly. He took skimmed cash from his criminal clients and didn't disclose it on his taxes. Now here's a question. He says, did he make a deal with the government so he was not prosecuted? Something worth exploring. So guys, did y'all just hear him say basically that Steve was laundering money and he got basically caught, but did he make a deal? Did he do like the other people that we know? Did he make a deal so he can get off? So did he make a deal to get Robert? Maybe that's why he was ineffective of working for Robert the right way. Got some more stuff to show y'all. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to show you that, guys, this too. Hold on. Okay. All right. This is what Broski says. Hold on. This is Broski. Okay. This is him. He was a former. Okay. And I'm going to give you a little history of Broski too, because, you know, everybody's going to say something. Okay. But he has this and he has that. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So it is important that Kelly's supporters get the message out that they support Attorney Farinella. This will get to Kelly through the media and will help him feel confident in the choice he to keep Farinella as his attorney. Support Attorney Becker too. Okay, that's what he said. Hold on, there's more stuff, y'all. All right, let me stop sharing this one and get the other one. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on a second. I got something else to show y'all. Okay, y'all, you ready? He said more on the former R. Kelly attorney, Steve, ineffective assistant Bert Greenberg. Records of his safety deposit box and in his then wife named were kept hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash for his criminal client, which record indicate was not reported on taxes. You got that one, right? Okay, let's get out of that one. Now the next one, he says that he said on the next one, he said, the tax return. In a sworn testimony, I have the transcript, which I do have that too, y'all. I have the transcript. At one time of in excess of 200,000 in one box, and another year, almost $1 million paid to renovate his house. Why didn't the government prosecute? Did Steve, ineffective assistant Greenberg, make a deal with the government while? I have no evidence of such deal. The question has to be asked, is this a conflict of interest because ineffective assistant Greenberg doesn't want to anger feds because they can investigate him for money laundering. Money came from criminals and tax evasion. Okay. So, and then he provided proof. He provided proof of all of this. So I have the transcript. Hold on, y'all. I got the transcripts right here. And I okay, 1 second. Okay, these are the transcript of the disposition right here. So I don't know if I should read them, but this is the disposition right here. And it was in his divorce decree. I mean, it's over. If you could tell, it's over 178 files. Okay. And let me explain something else to you guys. I'm not going to read this transcript, but I just want to tell you guys I got it. And it was all given to me via Mr. Borowski. Okay, I want to show you something else. That was said. Hold on a second. This is what. Hold on. This is what was sent. Hold on a second. And I'm going to tell you, he said that basically the filings that he did, Robert should have at least over 500 filings. If you ever look at Giselle, the one Maxwell, you should see the amount of filings that her attorneys have. They have way more than Robert, and Robert has been in his case for over 2 years. And she has okay, I'm going to show you. Hold on. What he says here. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay, this is what he said on his thing. He said, this is the same guy right here. You see him? He said, by the way, when I looked at the court clerk docket on Kelly's case, I was shocked. Only 100 filings in 2 years is nuts. There should be 500 or more. Where are the motions to suppress? Where are the motion in Lehman? Where are the motion to dismiss? And Greenberg was lead, so this is his. You guys see that? How many of y'all have said that why he was not putting motions into I know you guys were saying that. You remember you guys were saying that? Y'all said it. Come on, Dom. You know you said it too. A lot of you guys were saying that there should be more motions in here. Why he's not putting motions to dismiss anything? Why? We're not even attorneys. We're not even attorneys, y'all. Steve was part of the plot to take R. Kelly down. And I'm not taking it back, Dom. I'm just messing with you. Because you and I had a fight about this. Do you understand what I'm saying? And what he do, he throws mud when Rob decided to wake up and see what he's doing. He throws mud and try to taint Tom and try to taint Nicole. You get what I'm saying? He's coming aboard. I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for him. Dom, I'm just joking. Okay, we all had questions in our mind about him. Y'all, do you remember when hold on a second. You remember he was having that fake beef with Avenatti? They were having fake beef all the time. All the time. Back and forth, back and forth. Just like some of these people in here be having these fake beef. It's just to throw you off and distract you. It was to throw you off and distract you. This lawyer is saying there should be way more filings. If you go and look at Jayceline's hold on a second, I got a text message. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. I got something else. Okay, sorry guys. I was okay. Um hold on. Sorry. I gotta let me stop this one. Let me go get the other one. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, it's another one. Guys, anybody coming in here to distract us, zap them, stop them, okay? Because they're trying to come in to distract. We're not gonna let them distract. Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Just hold on a bit, guys. Hold on. I'm very disappointed. I need to find out who actually brought Steve along onto Robert's case. And guys, there's some things I need you guys to do, and I'm going to explain it to you guys in a minute as soon as I finish showing you all of this stuff here. Hold on a second. He renovated his house. Just and you guys remember that we did that march and he had just bought a brand new Maserati? I wonder whose money did he get that off of? Hold on, y'all. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, there are a lot of people, key players in this whole thing. There's a lot of players, y'all. A lot. Okay. As you remember, and they didn't know, they didn't have a clue that, see, they thought Robert was going to take the plea and everything wouldn't have to come out in the open, and that everything was going to just be hush hush and cool. Everybody could go about their business. But Robert was strong enough to know that, you don't admit to something you didn't do. You go ahead and go through the fire as long as you stand in your truth. And that's what Robert has been doing, standing on his truth. You know, he know he did not do the stuff that these people claiming that he did, and that's why he could stand on it. Because some people like, okay, then why he settled? He didn't settle. It was those other people that was doing all the settling for him. It was never Robert himself. It was the Susan Logans and all these other people. The what do you call his name? Uh Daryl McDavid. Those are the people that was doing all the settling. They're the one who was carrying the purse. Hold on, okay. Hold on. Trying to pull up everything. Okay. 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 I was finished pulling the rest of that one so you guys could see the back and forth message with someone that he was talking to. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Here go the next. Okay, Steve. Steve was the lead, so this is his responsibility and his negligence. Okay. And exactly, he has not done anything. When other attorneys wanted to file motion, he shut them down. He did not win. He did not win not one motion filed, not one. You guys see this, Al? Steve did not intend to win to fight Robert's fight. He did not intend it, y'all. He did not intend to. He did not. Okay. Here's what we need to do as a people. We need to file grievance. We need to file a grievance because this is unethical. Unethical. Okay, Dom. Okay. This is unethical. This is very unethical. This is unethical. We have to file a grievance. Us as supporters, we have rights. Because what they have done to this man, and I don't know who's the head honcho behind all of this, but I know it's somebody who has long dollars, somebody who has strong influence, somebody who can get a bunch of people to do this kind of stuff. Foolish people, because none of them are rich with all this crap that they did. That boy over there, where he going? He going to jail. He may not get a lot of time, but he's still going to jail. All of this stuff that they have done. And don't tell me Steve is not doing this to cover his own behind, because he could be going to jail for the stuff, money laundering that he's doing with these other people. Money laundering. He should be in jail. But he's still around. And he's still making noise. No, I have a right, Dom. I have a right. I'm not Dom, don't get blocked. Be cool, boo. Be cool. Because you might be a moderator, but I can still block you. I'm just messing with Dom. I'm just messing with them, y'all. I'm just playing with him, y'all. I'm not for real, because people get offended because I start coming after Dom. But Dom and I are just cool. I'm just joking with him. But anyway, We know who has the power, right? Yeah, but Kim Fox is being investigated too right now. God will have the last word exactly. It don't matter if she don't file charges. It's still gonna you gotta go through a board. Um, I just remember what. Huh. Okay, y'all. So there are a lot of dirty people, y'all. Like I tell you, prayer. You guys don't show up for prayer, but y'all show up for stuff like this. This is when y'all need to have a whole bunch of people in the chats to pray. To really, really pray. To really, really pray. Me and my prayer warrior is gonna pray tonight because we know exactly who to pray about. This doesn't make sense at all. I'm gonna put the link in. Come on, y'all. Come on, because I'm waiting for him to contact me back. But come on in the chat. So you know me, I get tired of talking after a while. Get tired. It's too much money and too many favors. Yeah, too many favors. I'm just a regular person. All right, Spinfire, it's your turn to come on. Here you go. It's your turn, right?
You know it.
It's your turn to come on. Here you go. It's your turn, right?
You know it. Is that me? Echo?
Yeah, that's you. That's you. Feedback.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to see why I'm getting feedback. Hold on. Okay. That's better now, ain't it? Okay. You can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I was in your chat and I was driving and I couldn't comment when I wanted to, but I'm home now. Y'all, you guys, look. People tell y'all, people who don't have any experience on and never fought anything and never organized anything or whatever will tell y'all to do some of the craziest mess ever. There's no reason for you guys to be writing former President Barack Obama. There is no reason for you guys to even do that. That's a waste of time and that's to steer you in the wrong direction and everything like that. What we need to do, as what you indicated, Sylvia, and I said previously, is that people need to get involved with the legal system and let them know that there was ineffective counsel.
I listen to the best, right? That was from you. You know that, right?
Thank you. I appreciate it. And so, because you do have rights, you know what I mean? We know that this man has done wrong. We know that we're fighting systemic racism. There is no reason for him to have to fight and fire his lead counsel at that, 2 months before his trial is supposed to begin. So how is it that he can fight effectively if he only have less than 60 days to prepare? You understand? And then he's been detained 2 years. Out of the 1 year he's been detained, it was COVID. So there is just all around some issues happening here. And you know what? And I know a lot of people saying, no, she's still going on with it, and that's the best case. I don't think it's the best case. I really don't. I don't think it's the best case to continue to go forward if we don't know who's going to be the lead counsel. We don't know who's going to be counsel because she could say, okay, he has to have new attorneys or whatever. Because if they say, I don't know, because I know Nicole on the state side because she was a state prosecutor here in Michigan. I don't know if she ever fought federal cases here or whatnot. I can't, you guys, I can't tell you guys that. But what I can say is that there is a thing that the judge will not allow him to have ineffective counsel. If she feels that he has ineffective counsel, she can remove counsel for him, and she could say, okay, she's going to appoint a court appointed attorney, or he has so many days to get a new attorney or whatever. And then that attorney has so many days to try to catch up. And that's just not fighting and preparing for the case accurately. And I just think that this is just really grounds for um, actually a motion need to be put in for the appellate court on how this case has been handled in the first place. Because I've often told you guys that anytime you lose every motion, every time you put in a motion, it's always denied. That is impossible. You know what I mean? Even if it was Ted Bundy's, there were times where his counsel put motions in, and they had proof that he was a murderer, right? But there are just certain things, basic rights, even that he has, and you may not. When I did the thing about the scale, you may not have it all one side, or it may not be even, but it's never supposed to be one sided. You know what I mean? And if it's all one-sided, then that there is grounds for dismissal. That's there is not a grounds for a case to continue to go on the trial. And this is exactly what I was telling people. But people are so caught up in the emotion parts of this and the sex abuse charges that he have. They don't care about the ineffective counsel that he's been having. They don't care about the justice system that is racially systemic that he's dealing with. They don't care about the injustice that he's enduring because they caught up in their own emotion, and that's going to be a problem. You cannot fight this case with emotion. You can't even support it with emotion. You got to keep your emotion out of it because it's going to interfere with us as a people helping, and it's hard to do, but it's a must because you have to understand they are not fighting with you, but they want them. You know what I mean? That what they're going on and what the prosecutor is going on, they're not going on unless they're going on hunger. They're hungry for this conviction. And if you plead, that's a conviction for them. They're very hungry for it. And a lot of people uh, put a lot of money up to get Robert Sylvester Kelly convicted and incarcerated. They put a lot of money up. And you got to think, Will said something. He said, well, people can spend $1 million to get something done, or to save the other 949 million, because they said Robert was worth 950 million. Hell, I would spend 50 million to save 900 million. I mean, it's just basic math. You know what I mean? So the people who helped set up ain't got paid. The young ladies ain't got paid. You know what I mean? So now, when we seen a few months ago, none of them can go to court. None, they scared about COVID. They scared about. Wait a minute. Now, these women were so adamant 2 years ago. Now they're acting as if they don't give a damn today. And then now they say, okay, the trial's supposed to begin. So now you got this happening with Steve Greenberg, the truth coming out and things of that nature about how he sat up there and did this before. And I asked you last night, well, who brought Steve in? I think that is a question that we need to be really digging. We really need to dig and find out, because whoever recommended Steve may be the corporate. I'm just saying that may be the person who Rob need to get away from. You know what I mean? That may be the person who he not need to speak with. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just don't need to fire your lawyers. Sometimes you need to fire the people that's closest to you. So I think that, it's a lot of things that we can do to get the awareness out. But former President Barack Obama is not it. That stuff is crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's been out of office 2016. The man is not even. It's crazy. It's absurd. So
Who said that?
well, somebody, people that's not human. That's all you need to know. That was in your chat. Anyway, I'm gonna let somebody else come on. I'm not going to sit up here and take up all the time like I usually do. But I'm going to let someone else come in and talk. But I just wanted to say that because we just want to pray. I do come into your prayer line sometimes and I pray with you and everything, because prayer is, good. But we all know prayer without works is dead. So I'm grateful and thankful for you for getting a banner together. Some people think that is not working. I think anything that we can do is a help. I think anything. I'm not rejecting to anything that's reasonable at this point because we don't have no time for that. You know what I mean? So I thank the chat. I thank all the subscribers for rocking with us for these past couple years, believing in us and believing what we're speaking on. I really do. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that they know how to rock with ones who are actually putting in information out here that can actually be helped, not just to R. Kelly, but men in general, people in general. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta fight. We really do. We gotta fight culturally. This is bigger than just Robert Sylvester Kelly. You know what I mean? But we gotta, if we can save him, the fight continues, people. It really does. It continues. So I just wanted to say that. She said I sound low. I'm not on my phone. I don't know why I sound low. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but they say you sound low. But remember, I got a headphone, so I could hear you close.
Okay. Because I just don't understand. I just don't understand why people are just. Can you guys hear me now? Because I turned it up, I think. Okay. So
Well, don't ask me because I can hear you.
yeah. So I just think that we already know we filter out the good. We filter out the good subs, the bad subs. I think we filter out most of them anyway. I'm so appreciative for them. We gotta give them credit too because they got beat up with us. When we first started this, they were called p hides and everything, and they rock with us. So I appreciate every last one of you in the chat. I'm not gonna call names because if I forget one name, everybody get mad. But all of you who have been rocking with the people over here, Team Kills, and the ones who are fighting for R. Kelly and fighting against injustice of our black men, we appreciate you guys. You know what I'm saying? For your, all of you in the chat that I see, we appreciate you. We love you. Continue to rock with us. We thank you. At least I know I do, and I can believe Sylvia does
I
too.
do too. I do. I
Yes,
thank them a lot.
I think of a lot. Yes, absolutely. That's why I do a lot of tributes to them because without you guys give us strength. A lot of times we cry a lot for some of the stuff we find out, and I can Sylvia can vouch for that. Um, and we have to come out here and put commentary together and put on a face sometimes when we really feel bad. You know what I mean? So
And when we don't even want to do it.
right, we don't even want to do it. So but it's you guys that give us strength. It's the words you say, it's the emails we get that gives us strength to come back on here and keep on fighting and getting the word out. And one person said yesterday, last night on your channel, she said, "You think we're not listening, but a lot of us do listen." I appreciate that. She really made my day when she said that. Our day, actually. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys. Fire out. I'll talk to you later.
She always fire out. Why you leaving? Did she go? She gone, y'all. She's gone. Anybody want to come in? Where's Gucci? I thought he was gonna come in here. Yeah, I'm very drained. I'm really drained. I just try to understand, and I'm still questioning a lot of things because I I really and I know guys that like that lady said in that prayer yesterday, she said she know that God Robert is basically appointed, anointed by God. And the devil, the enemy knows it. He knows it. That's why he's trying to really try to snuff Robert real hard. But regardless of what God, the assignment that God set in Robert's life, it has to be fulfilled. It has to. It is going to be fulfilled. The only person that can stop it from being fulfilled is basically Robert saying no to God. But if he says yes to God, God is going to make sure everything gets him, being put in place. Why do you think everything is being revealed now? It's being revealed. They trying to make it like I just don't quite understand it. If supposedly he's supposed to be that guilty, why do you have to do all these extra stuff to get him?
Hey, sis.
Hey, hon.
Um, I came in when you were just talking about that because I I just last night I dreamed about Robert. I mean, all night. Normally, when I dream, I just dream, and it doesn't last all night, and it doesn't linger over into the day. But as I began to read the Word, God is, as I told you before, and we've talked about this before. Um, every test that we all go through, because we all got to go through a test in order for us to see the victory on the other side. And this test, Robert is taking for the team. And when I say for the team, I'm talking about for our men, because there are so many of our men have fallen asleep or fallen by the wayside and feel like that, whatever happens or whatever is going on in the world, we'll just lie down and accept it. But without our men, there is no life. We don't have life without our men. And because Robert is a heterosexual man, that within itself is a strike against him in this day and time. But at the end of the day, we know that Robert stated from the beginning, this is a God thing. He said that this is a God thing. He didn't believe that he would be in there going on 3 years. I didn't believe that he would be in there going on 3 years, but God had to expose, God had to show some people that he had to humble Robert to get him to the point to understand and see that he got work for him to do. And the work that he had for him to do is not just there where he was settling, because Robert began to settle in that place of where he was, but God got much more work for him to do. And even the people that's following, there are a lot of people that's following you and other chats that don't believe in God. But I promise you, before this trial, or I'm not going to even believe that the trial is going to even take place. But before Robert comes home, everyone that's following going to know who God is and going to understand that God is still at work. And when he is at work, no man can do anything. You cannot do anything to bring him down, because God is going to show himself strong. And why am I saying that, Sandra? For those that understand the word of God, when you go read Mary and Martha, when their brother was in the their brother had died, Jesus knew, they had got in touch with Jesus. Jesus understood and knew that what was going to happen, but he did not come when Mary and Martha called him. He came at the right time, in the right place, because he wanted the people to understand it wasn't about Lazarus, it was about them giving the glory to God. And when we get through in this test that we're all going through with Robert, we got to give God the glory. And I know you get tired. And I know it feels like that the weight is just so heavy, but I'm telling you and all the rest of you, we're listening. It may not seem like we're listening, but we're listening, we're paying attention, but we're in this fight together. At the end of the day, it's not going to be a lot of us withstanding the test, because everybody didn't come into this fight for the fight. Some people came in here as spectators, but even those that come in here as spectators, you're going to believe in the power of God before it's all over.
Okay, let me finish giving the rest of this stuff out that I have.
Okay.
I just needed to take a moment for my mental capacity. But let me give y'all some more stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna go back in the chat.
Okay. Okay, guys, I got some more stuff for y'all. Hold on. All right, guys, this is a message from the attorney that all right, here it goes. Guys, can y'all see this? Can y'all see? Let me move out the way. Can y'all see this? This is what he said. This is a text that Greenberg sent to an attorney, to attorney Hedershit in 2013 in the Peterson appeal, when Hedershit, whatever how to say his name, I don't even know how to say his name. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on, hold on. Sorry, hold on. Oh, God. Sorry, guys. I just feel a little frustrated, but flustered a little bit. Just bear with me. I'm sorry, guys. I just... All right, here we go. Y'all saw the first part, right? This is the second part of that email. That text message. He says, let me go since I messed it up the first one. Hold on. Okay, the first one, do you guys see this? Okay, this is the first part. He said here, this is a text message that Greenberg sent to an attorney, whatever his name was, and it says when Hezershit wanted to file a truthful affidavit, right? So Steve went and did this to him. Steve went and said this to him. And he said that he would have exposed Greenberg's conflict of interest in the case. This is the true Steve Greenberg. You can use this you can use this. You see in an hour. See you in an hour. So hopefully he'll come. Okay. All right. So and this is the email that he the text message he sent to the guy and threatening him. This is the email that he sent to the guy. This email says here, the text message. He says, if you see it says text message Steve Greenberg, right? And this was on 9/20/2013. He says, I don't know what the F you're doing, but it cannot be more important. I will effing make sure that you never practice for anyone again. If that effing affidavit gets filed and you effing ruin 4 years of my effing work. Why the F would you do that? He sent me copies of the affidavit. And if that affidavit get filed with the court, we lose the entire appeal. Why the F would you do that? If I write a contrary appeal, I am violating the rules. Why the F would you do that? You better get off your effing ass and check it if he send you the original. And if he didn't, you better effing drive that effing out of Ottawa and get it before they file it, or effing call them and make sure they don't effing file it, or I'm gonna effing have your effing head. This is Steve Greenberg threatening the other attorney when he tried to file something. There it is, y'all. Y'all see that? Proof is in the pudding. It's blurry. Okay, let me make it wider so you can see. Do you guys see? Is it blurry for you guys? I think it just might be you, Impress Nubia. Let me make it wider. Hold on. Oh, I get it. Y'all see it? Mhm. Can you give me a bottle of water, please? I'm gonna let it ponder right there for you guys to see for a minute. Hold on. Okay, I have Mr. Am I saying your name right?
I don't know. Brodsky.
Brodsky.
Joel Brodsky.
Joel
Joel
Brodsky. Okay.
That's, yeah.
Hi, everyone. In the chat, I have Mr. Joel Brodsky on the phone. And Mr. Brodsky, go ahead.
Well,
So, yeah.
I mean, I guess you called me because after this debacle with Steve Greenberg in the R. Kelly case.
Yes.
And the way he got fired but didn't withdraw, and then insisted on demeaning his co-counsel, and then he supposedly wrote some letter that caused the judge to set another hearing, even though Mr. Kelly said he fired Greenberg. It brought back memories of when I was co-counsel with, actually I was lead counsel, and he was the number 3 or 4 in the Drew Peterson case over a decade ago. And he pulled the exact same scam with Peterson and that team as he's trying to do now with R. Kelly. But it's even worse in this particular case because, I hadn't really been following the R. Kelly case that closely. So I went and looked at the online, you can go on Pacer and look at the docket.
Yeah.
And I looked at the docket and I literally felt like, I was in shock. I was speechless. This is a major, obviously very high profile major case. Probably going to be one. I remember when Mr. Kelly's first case, I know Sam Adams, his first lawyer, and Ed Jensen, who did that first case in Chicago when he was tried. I know them. Ed's passed away and Sam has moved down to Florida, but I knew them very well. Very well. And so I knew what happened in that case and how hard they worked and what great of a job they did. And then to see that in this case, in all this time, there has not been one what they call motion to eliminate file, motion to challenge evidence, not one motion to suppress, only one 5-page weak ass motion to dismiss that's practically a joke. No motion to advance discovery, no motion for early return of 3500, section 3500 material, nothing for discovery except some form motion for discovery that you can get off of, you can get online if you wanted to get it. It's nothing has been done. I looking at 90 docket entries before he tried to withdraw. And usually in a case of this size, of this magnitude, with this much at stake, you'd have 500, 750 docket entries, on average, because there'd be that many motions, that many hearings. You'd be challenging all the evidence. You'd be trying to suppress all the statements and all the witnesses' statements. You'd be all over the fact that they're trying to use evidence from a case that he was acquitted in. In a new case, you'd be challenging everything. That's a lawyer's job, right? Challenge everything.
Yes.
And nothing. It's not even that he hasn't challenged not everything. He has challenged absolutely nothing. And it's par for. It's par for the course because Greenberg got into this case as he got into the. Unfortunately, I let him into the Peterson case because he wants to be the center of attention. He wants to get attention. He wants people to look at him. Me. Look at me, how great I am. You see me? I'm just the greatest person around. That's his sole motivation in life. And but he doesn't do the work. And it's a shame. Look, I'm not a supporter. I'm a supporter of Mr. Kelly. I'm not a detractor of Mr. Kelly. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I've seen innocent people. I know of innocent people convicted. I have no guilty people who have got off, but I know enough that I've seen more than enough in 37 years of doing trials that you really don't know until you actually hear the actual evidence. You just don't know. You never know.
Mhm.
So I just believe strongly that everybody should be entitled to a fair trial.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Period, and end of story. You should get a fair trial with a competent lawyer doing a competent job, and that's all that life can guarantee you. And hopefully things work out the right way. But when I see somebody's not getting not even a semblance of a fair trial because the lawyer has done absolutely nothing, it's beyond incredible. I think the one motion he did file was like 3 months late.
Yeah, that was when the sequential jury thing.
Yeah, and that's very important. Well, there's actually three things that are very important. Four things. One is obviously, for a sequestered jury is a big issue because, like I said, I've done over 100 felony jury trials. And juries do not like being locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And so they tend to try to rush through things.
Mm.
And it's much easier, believe it or not, even though we have the rule that says beyond reasonable doubt, the easiest thing is to convict. It's, to quit, they have to deliberate. It's kind of backwards from the way it should be. But and so a rushed jury is much more likely to convict. And so that's why it's a big deal to decide, make a decision about if a jury should be sequestered or not, or even partially sequestered, or even partially anonymous. Because when they're anonymous, they think, well, they're making me anonymous. There must be something to be afraid of.
Wow.
What's to be afraid of? It's the defendant. Oh, I got to fear the defendant. I better convict him. So, that's the logic of it. And that's the message that's being sent. So, this is a big issue. And the fact that, he was 3 months late in filing that response is crazy. And then there's this thing called Rule 3500 or Section 3500 material,
Mm-hmm.
which is the statements of all the witnesses before the grand jury or in police report, and FBI reports, police reports, whatever. It's very important to have the statements of knowing what the witness is going to or what they said they're going to testify to.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the most important things to know. Well, you always file a motion for what they call early return of 3500 of Section 3500 material, because the government doesn't have to give it to you until just before trial, unless you ask the judge to make them give it to you. So you'll always ask the judge to make them give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, those motions are granted. Then this whole thing about using evidence and circumstances from the case he was acquitted on, in this case, is also very probably that should have been litigated. Motions to suppress, motions in limine, which are motions to eliminate evidence. It's not limine, L-I-M-I-N-E, motion in limine. It's Latin, a Latin phrase. But basically, what it does is it a motion ruling on evidence before the trial starts, and you always try to whittle down the evidence and file a motion to suppress because you want to keep out as much evidence as you can. But regarding this prior case, we have a double jeopardy rule. It happens to be written into the Constitution. And if you can use evidence where a guy was acquitted in a criminal charge, in a second criminal charge, that's potentially a serious violation of double jeopardy. And that should have been, that wasn't even mentioned in the motion, in the 5-page motion to dismiss the one that was filed. It's incredible. And then, obviously motions to suppress, because the government can only obtain evidence in certain manners. And if they don't do it right, especially with wiretaps and audio taps and video, if they don't do it right, and then even with video, there has to be properly authenticated, because nowadays, I can get on my computer. Well, I'm not good enough, but my kids can get on the computer and make something in a video that looks very accurate. You wouldn't be able to tell it from the original,
Mm-hmm.
from an actual original. And they can manipulate it, modified. And so they have to be verified and properly authenticated before they can get in evidence. And if they can't be properly verified, then they should be excluded. And so you should be doing that. None of this basic stuff has been done, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's like us, you know. I mean, I did a lot of trials, so I kind of consider myself fairly good at it. And it's like a good surgeon watching somebody try to do surgery with a meat cleaver. I mean, it's really embarrassing. It's horrible. But yeah, I wonder why. You know, why? That's a different question. I don't know the answer to. I have suspicions, but
you don't.
I mean,
you know, one.
Go ahead, please ask me questions because I could ramble. You know,
Okay,
that's not a good
guys,
thing.
if you have any questions to ask Joel, please do. But I have one question. There is an individual by the name of Daryl Johnson, and he was brought on as a crisis manager. He is the one. Yeah, he is the one that convinced Robert to do that interview with Gayle King, and that interview basically, I felt that it hurt him.
Yeah, it didn't do him very well. He wasn't very well prepped for it.
And Steve was there, but he claimed he wasn't there, but he was there.
You can see him. No, you can see him in the video. You can see it if you look at it. Yeah. And I think you see his head popping out at some point, or part of, kind of looking around. At least that's been pointed out to me. I haven't really examined it really, really close, but that's what was pointed out to me. Look at I guess they're going back to the Drew Peterson case. I mean, so people will say, who am I to criticize? Because I let Drew Peterson do interviews. But in reality, the way that worked was I told him not to do any interviews, and he went out and did them anyway. It literally would be like in the morning, I would tell, hey, Drew, make sure you do not talk to the media. Don't talk. Whatever you do, don't talk to them. And then at 6 o'clock in the evening, I turn on TV, and there he'd be talking to some reporter. Drew was kind of a hound, so if they sent a pretty female reporter in, he would end up just talking. So, and they figured that out really quick. So, after like the 5th or 6th time he did that, we came to the conclusion, well, if he's going to do it, if I can't stop him, I might as well try to regulate it. So I brought in a media guy, actually a legitimate media guy who was an anchor down in Tampa and had a legitimate, PR company. It was fairly well regarded, Glenn Sullig. And we brought him in to try to, make sure that Drew was prepped and that, we were able to like limit and try to control what he said. And, but, given my brothers, he certainly would not have said anything to the media. Yeah. In this case, it seems like he actively promoted putting. He did. Yeah. And that's 180 degrees from what I did. And then he didn't even didn't even have him prepped for it.
But you know what I heard, Joel? I heard there was an interview that was done with the young lady that gave the bond money, and they said that Robert was promised $1 million underneath the table, but he never saw the $1 million. So where did that $1 million go?
No, American media doesn't pay for interviews. The news media. I wish if they did, would have been nice to get some money from them. But they don't pay. The media, it's different in Australia and England. The stations, the privately owned stations there will pay for interviews, but U.S. media doesn't pay, period. So there was no payment for that interview with King. Okay. What they generally do is, the only reason to do it is to, if you want to get something done, you want to get ahead of a story or try to cut something off. Well, Glenn Sullig had us do that a couple times when we knew something wasn't going to come out that wasn't really helpful. So we tried to get ahead of it a little bit, try to control the narrative, which to some extent you can do and to some extent you can't. But it's a very tricky thing to play with the media because, you give an hour long interview, and they end up playing, 5-minute clips of it, or 3 minutes. So they cut up and really can control the way it looks. They can distort and manipulate the way it looks, and it's really a very, very tricky thing.
Mhm.
And they have their agenda, which is to get viewers, and you have your agenda to get out a story, to get out a point of view, and often those things clash, and it's a very, very dangerous thing to play with the media. It really is, as shown with what happened with Mr. Kelly. The money thing here, it's, Robert's in Mr. Kelly's in the music business, in the entertainment industry. And entertainment business, there is a tremendous amount of money going around. It's the movie industry and music industry, they make money they have money to even think of the, I call it, the money is just so much, I call it stupid money, because it's just so much is stupid.
Mhm.
And it's so, was there money to be made with rights, or I really don't know. I do know after Greenberg and I had a thought looking into his businesses, I think a couple of things I tweeted out show his dealing with large amounts of cash
Mhm.
and the precious metals, safety deposit boxes, and not showing up on his tax, on his not being disclosed to the government unless he amended those returns later on. It certainly leads to suspicion, because it's a hell of a lot of cash. He said there, I think in the deposition during his divorce, he talked about almost $1 million in renovations to his house, paid for mostly in cash. That's a hell of a lot of cash.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with drug dealers, and whose clients were mostly drug dealers and criminals, who would pay him, that's, there's more, maybe it was all for fees. I don't know. It could be all for fees. It could have all come from fees. Maybe he charged a hell of a lot more than most people. I don't know. But it certainly is something that seems that a person that knows the business would look at it suspiciously, put it that way.
Okay.
I don't have any evidence that it was thing, but it would be something that would cause one to say, whoa, well, that's weird. How does you get $1 million in cash?
Mhm.
It's and then look at you're dealing with, that's strange. So it would cause one to want to look 2 or 3 times. It really would. But and how that translates into what's going on with Mr. Kelly in a business where there's a tremendous amount of money.
Mhm.
It would cause me, if I was the private investigator looking into it, it would cause me to want to take a hard look at what's going on. Maybe he's going to find nothing and it's 100% on the up and up, but it would certainly cause me to want to take a look at it. That's what I would certainly say. It certainly is suspicious.
Yeah. Someone asked, can anyone report Steve to the ethic board?
Oh yeah, well, anybody can, but they generally speaking, they don't do anything unless a client is the one. There's one that's reporting it, and it's with me. And then they, sure, anybody can. I don't know that it's gonna, they're not an investigatory agency. They don't do deep dives.
Okay.
But they have to look at stuff that's on the surface. But it's certainly, look, if you look at it, take 10 of the top criminal defense lawyers that do criminal defense lawyers, and you look at them and you say, look at this docket. You have 2 months of trial in a major case, and look what's been done. And they look at that docket and look at the motions, and you say, do you see a competent representation here, or do you see negligent representation here? The answer is going to be from 10 of them. 10 out of 10 is going to be negligent.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, where are these motions? Where is the suppression? Where are the basic motions that one would file in a case like this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's shocking. Look at Peter Greenberg's character. Well, let's put it. In fact, I was another co-counsel in the Pearson case. I was talking to earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, let me think. Days are going fast. It was actually Friday evening, and it was Joe Lopez. And Joe reminded me how he had to take over some of Greenberg's cross-examinations because Greenberg got drunk the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this was one of the most high-profile cases in the country at that time, and you're about to do a cross-examination of a witness, and you get too drunk to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it shows is that you don't care what happens to the client.
Mm-hmm.
Other things he would do. This is just for example his love of me. We had a strategy that was just for the defense to what witnesses we were going to call, what questions we were going to ask, what our general strategy was, which would switch kind of day to day depending how things went, be modified. And then we saw that he would be giving an interview to at that time Court TV,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman named Beth Karras. The day before that morning, like at 7 a.m, when the trial was started at 9. And he was telling her on TV, so she was broadcasting on TV what we were going to do that day and what our strategy was, how it was going to go that day, what was going to happen. And we would go, Steve, don't do that. The prosecution watches TV too, and we don't want them to know what we're going to do. Wow. So we had to stop him from doing that. And then, what else? He, when he was upset, we took him off the meeting. And we found out later on that he and Karras were together. And that's something else he did. We found out later on that he had leaked a sealed document to a reporter in exchange for favorable press coverage. There was a pretrial hearing we had. This is to give you an idea of how you should do, how intensive a big case should be. We had 8 weeks of pretrial hearings, actually evidentiary pretrial hearings, like mini trial, going into this. And at the end of it, the judge had to make a decision about whether or not, beyond by more likely than not, by a preponderance of the evidence, Drew was guilty of killing his 4th wife so that her hearsay could be used in the murder trial on the 3rd wife. And we had, and then the judge issued a ruling, but we had it sealed because you don't want the jury pool finding out that the judge thinks that this guy killed his 4th wife, right? It's not good for the trial on the 3rd wife. Mm-hmm. Right after he came into the case, within 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, very shortly. Yeah, and he got, and obviously when he came in and filed an appearance, we gave him everything to look at, including that order. It was leaked to a reporter at the Chicago Tribune.
Wow. And
to the great detriment of the client, because now everybody knows that the judge who heard evidence thinks that he did it. To the 4th wife, and and in exchange, and then from that reporter though, and then we find out that he did the exact same thing with that same reporter in another case that a couple of years before that, called Brian Dugan, who was a high profile, was a child murderer, a serial child murderer in DuPage County. It was a county near here. And then he had also been trading documents for favors with the positive press, in that case, in that case too. And so it seems to be a troublesome pattern. And, when people say, well, I'm saying this, and it's just my word against Greenberg's, you know, or I mean, I have black documents to back all this stuff up.
Yeah, you did. I saw the document.
And, but you know, if I'm lying, hey, Stevie, sue me, baby. I'll see you in court. Sue me for slander. Sue me for libel. Come on. Well, I'll take all the evidence. Let's bring it out in court, okay, hon? I'll be more than happy to do that with him. You know, let a jury decide who's telling the truth, man. I'll ask you questions about the tens of thousands of pages of documents I have. And we'll see who's telling the truth.
So do you know how he got on Robert Kelly's case? Do you know? I mean, have you heard?
Well, he's friend. Yeah, I think I can make an assumption. I mean, do I know? No. I mean, that's why when I don't know, I'll tell you. It's yeah. I mean, I know that he was friends with Sam Adams Jr., who was the attorney for Robert and Mr. Kelly in the first in the 2008 case here in Cook County. And I know that I'm sure Mr. Kelly went right when he got in trouble, went right back to the lawyer who won the first case for him.
Mm-hmm.
And but Mr. Sam didn't want to do the case, and I don't know why. I mean, there's been some things said about some things that Mr. Kelly, or there's been some accusations about what may have been done in that case. I think there's going to be with a juror. Not that he said Sam did anything wrong, but you know, somebody in Mr. Kelly's circle has been accused of doing something wrong, and perhaps Sam thought he might potentially be a witness, and therefore he was conflicted out, or you know, thought that it was probably better for him that he didn't get involved because you know, he may have just a simple problem, like he wouldn't be able to do as good a job because he'd be worried about his own ass as well as his clients. You know, so but for whatever reason he didn't want to do it. Maybe he just didn't want to do it. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it was a stressful case. I'm you know, to do in the first place. It's not popular to defend somebody who's accused of an offense like that. So perhaps, but in any event, so he probably, this is probably, is more likely than not, I'm just assuming, he probably referred Kelly to Steve because he knows that Steve likes cases with publicity, and thought that, you know, he'd probably do it for, you know, less money, and you know, because he likes being in the limelight. So, you know, and I'm not telling you that Steve, don't think that Greenberg's a stupid guy. He's not. He's just a pathological narcissist. But other than that, he's a smart guy. And you know, he's done some cases. He's done very well. He's done other cases that he's been found to have been ineffective. In a murder case, 2015, they reversed, the appellate court reversed, saying that he was provided negligent representation. And, you know, even during the Peterson case, on occasion, and when he was apparently, you know, had a sober evening, he would come up with flashes and points that were pretty, you know, pretty good. He'd come up with flashes that were, hey, that's good. You caught that.
So why do you think he's not doing, wasn't given some good motions with Robert's case?
These aren't just good motions. These are essential motions. This is like, you know, like using the surgery thing, like, you know, like a surgeon going to do surgery and he forgets to give you the anesthesia. I mean, this is really, really basic, very important things to do. I think it's because he doesn't care. I think his only reason in this case is to keep the case, so he can be in the limelight, so he can be the center of attention, so he can walk around during the trial and have the cameras pointed at him, and he can say, "Look at me, how wonderful I am! You see me? I'm great. It's all about me." And I mean, you know, you look at the situation. Mr. Kelly's illiterate. I mean, a absolute genius of an artist, but he can't read or write. And he's being held in Cook in Chicago in the Metropolitan Correctional Center here. And so how is he going to communicate with any lawyer that's not in Chicago? He can't talk to anybody in New York. In any depth, the phone calls are limited. He can't type, he can't send emails or letters. He can only person he can see is Greenberg, because Greenberg's office is right across the street from the Metropolitan Correctional Center.
Well, he never
And
visited
so-
him. He didn't visit him at all because he came because of COVID.
Well, they can do video hookups, but you go there, and I think they have like a visitor. I don't know. I haven't really. You can't do it from their office, I know, but I think maybe you can do it from in a controlled situation. They're very security conscious because they hold some really bad people in that place, some terrorists, and ice cold mobsters. But whatever the situation is, whatever limited contact he could have, it was only going to be with Greenberg. That was it. So basically, he was not only a prisoner of the government, he was also a prisoner of Greenberg.
Wow.
To that extent, because he really had almost no contact with anybody else to say, hey, your lawyer should be doing X, Y, and Z. Why isn't your lawyer doing this? We should be doing this. We should be filing this motion. We should be challenging this. What was your relationship with this witness, so I can challenge the testimony, so I think that, his only interest was, this is my opinion, just from inferences, my opinion was he just wanted to hold on to the case so he could use Robert to be, Mr. Kelly, the right to call him by his first, Mr. Kelly, as a tool so he could get attention, which is what he did with Peterson, because, he filed a fairly weak appeal, but the appeals were, once he filed the appeal, it was affirmed. The convictions were affirmed. By the way, finding that there was no error in representing him, not just, not harmful error, but actually no error. And then he told him that he's going to file a habeas corpus in federal court to try to overturn the conviction. And when he filed it, he made a big splash and gave interviews in the newspaper and to all the local TV stations. And then nothing's been done in that case for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. When I mean nothing, I mean not a motion, not a pleading, not a court appearance, nothing. It's been sitting collecting dust for a year and a half. His client is sitting in prison thinking something's going on. And, because all he wanted was that, in my opinion, all he wanted was that initial interview for filing it and be on TV when he filed it. And after that, he doesn't care because it's not about him.
Wow. There's quite a few questions they have here. Okay, first one, it says.
Let me give you the script. Let me give you a quick description of what I think of how Greenberg. I think my personal opinion is, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've dealt with psychological issues with in cases for over 3 decades, and forensic psychiatrists and stuff. And I think that when Steve Greenberg closes his eyes, he truly believes that the rest of the world disappears. Yeah, and I'm not just saying this figuratively. I mean literally. That he really believes that he is all that exists, and everything is to serve him. That's and truly, it's to the point where it's pathological. That where you can't see him, or he can't see you. You do not exist because he can't see you. You can't serve him, and that's the type of that's how bad the narcissism is with this guy. He really is like that. And, but anyway, go ahead, please ask me the question.
Okay, first question says, ask if he have ever heard of a judge allowing the prosecutor to use social media as witness intimidation of accusers, then list as Jane Doe in the case to get a sequential jury.
Yeah, sequester jury issue is really a tough issue. I mean, I've seen them, rarely seen them because they're very unpopular juries. They're tough to get even when you should have them. But in order to support a motion like that, you can use, the bar. It's not like a criminal case. You can use hearsay. There's no prohibition against using hearsay or, social media posts, for example, hearsay evidence, affidavits that can't be cross-examined in support of such a motion. So it's allowed under the rules of evidence, but so yeah, the answer is yeah. I've seen it done, attempted. They're usually not granted, but I've seen that type of stuff used in support of it, and so they can do it. It's kind of how to say, in a case like this where you have an allegation and a witness that says that witnesses have been intimidated and bribed, and I think I remember something with somebody's car or porch getting set on fire or something.
The person didn't even know R. Kelly, and he's in jail.
Like I said, I don't know any. I mean, like I said, I really haven't been following the case, so I just know that there was an accusation. And believe me, I know it's better than anybody that whatever you read in the newspaper, or in the news, you don't believe. If you believe 1% of it, you're probably believing too much. So whatever happened. But I know the allegation was made, and and that's the point. That's why filing the response to that motion for sequestered jury 3 months late is crazy, because if those allegations could have been contested and disputed with evidence like, hey, this person had a porch that, set on fire, or their car set on fire, had nothing to do with the case, and we don't even know who the hell this guy is, that would be important to tell the judge. So the judge would go, oh, well, maybe we don't need a sequestered jury here, or an anonymous jury. So, therein lies the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything else? Or?
There's another question. Ask him about R. Kelly being attacked in jail and what Greenberg should have done to get him released on bail or house arrest.
Well, let me tell you something. Unfortunately, house arrest is something that's interesting, because he certainly had the ability to be on house arrest. He didn't need to be in jail. They let Bernie Madoff, who's only stole the mere $50 billion out of the house, on home confinement. And if you just give real tight restrictions, you could have done a good job with you could require him to hire his own security to keep him in the house. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have been done. But beyond that, I can tell you that R. Kelly was not going to be left out on bond. That was just simply not an option.
Why was that not an option?
Because publicity.
Publicity?
The movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, public, judges, like everybody, even in the best of stress. I live in Cook County, Illinois. Cook County, Illinois is the most corrupt county and the most corrupt state in the union, like 5 years running. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have a skewed version of this. But even when you would have a county with the best judge, the best system, and the most brilliant judges, right, and the best justice system in the country, judges are human beings who go home every night and have wives and families, and kids, and so they know they absorb, or they understand what the community feeling is, and given the witch hunt atmosphere, that was going on at that time, he wasn't getting out initially. I mean, he wasn't there. I don't think there's anybody who could have got him out of bonds, in the first year of the case, or the first part of the case. But after the COVID thing started, and him having the ability to do a home confinement, and they were letting, guys that had double murder convictions, finished their sentences at home. I think a good case could have been put on to have them get out on home confinement then. But, you could have proposed a lot of things that weren't proposed, like Mr. Kelly has to hire, a very reputable private security firm, that aren't going to be under his control, guys that are ex-cops or who will watch his home to make sure he doesn't go out. He has to wear a GPS monitor, and he has to install cameras, and he's got to he can have nobody else living with him, and his visitors are restricted, but at least he's not in jail, he's in his condo. Something like that could have been proposed, but all they did is say, hey, there's COVID-19, let him out.
But he also goes and say that he don't get a chance to see his living girlfriend. I don't know why he even mentioned that to the judge.
Yeah, that's not something that's really going to impress the judge, especially where there's a sex offense case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you want to mention that the guy's not getting laid.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think that. As a matter of fact, Ed Jensen, who was who represented him along with Sam in the 2008 case, Ed was one of the old school great lawyers. He really was. If I got in trouble, I would have hired Ed. And Ed said that when they were representing him, they gave him, stuff to keep his, libido down low, because they don't, when you're tired with a sex offense, you don't want to be seen, at clubs with girls. It's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's the reality of the situation. The jury's not divorced from society. They're not divorced. They read the papers. They see TV, rightly or wrongly. They get something from that, and they absorb something from it. So, and he was right. That's why they got him not guilty.
Okay, here's another one.
That up. You're right. That was not a very smart move, was it?
No. Here's another one. How can a convicted lawyer provide evidence into this case? Because remember, Avenatti is the one provided the supposedly the sex tape.
Well, there you go. You see, that's exactly what I was talking about with a motion to suppress. Now, the source of the information is doesn't make it, doesn't in and of itself make it admissible or not admissible. You could have the worst source, but if the evidence can be verified, it can be authenticated, then it can come in if it's relevant. Mm-hmm. But there you go. You got a guy who's a convicted fraudster, and so that's going to raise questions as to the what they call chain of custody and authenticity, mm-hmm. and of the evidence. And so then you would want to bring a motion to suppress that evidence, and if it's a tape of him having supposedly sex with an underage girl, that would be an important piece of evidence to keep out. You want to suppress it and say, hey, this is a tainted chain of evidence, and the authenticity is questionable, and we try to use forensic examiners, and put the burden becomes on the state to actually prove it's authentic, and make them make them prove that it hasn't been tampered with, that nothing's been cut out or erased, because the rule is, even if we have a tape, but it's only half the tape and you don't know what's on the other half, then it goes out, because you got to have the whole thing, because you don't know what's in that other part. Maybe the other part of it is everybody getting up and saying, yeah, this was all just, just acting. It wasn't for real. Mm-hmm. And you don't know. So it comes up. So that's why I keep coming back to things like that, or why you file motions to suppress and motions to eliminate. So you can, keep that, you can challenge that evidence for the very reason you just brought up about Avenatti. Mm-hmm. He certainly taints it, that's for sure. Doesn't necessarily mean it's out, but it certainly taints it. And that's something that's really
but how is it allowed to go on CNN and CNN say that they viewed the tape and it's supposed to be underage? So that's child pornography. So why is CNN allowed to watch it and say something about it?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. how did it? That's another reason why why you could ask that it be excluded, because the fact that a lot of people that it's been shown around. Okay, that means that there's no really good clean chain of custody of the evidence. Now, with photographic evidence, it's not like drugs where you have to have an absolute, crystal chain of evidence where, the police put it in a bag, they put it in the locker, and every time they take it out, they got to log it and keep the bag sealed and stuff like that. But nowadays, photographs and videos, because of the way technology is, and the way they can be manipulated, you got to be able to show that if there's a lot of copies out there, the copy that you have or you want to present evidence is pristine and unmodified, and that the other copies out there, are the same. And if there's a difference, why that difference is, and all these other things. So, that's something that should have been, since this is an essential piece of evidence, that's something that a deep dive should have been done into. And the fact it wasn't, is once again why when I looked at that docket, I was literally shocked to see that this wasn't done. It's not like he hasn't had time. It's like 2.5 years?
Yeah, almost 3 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like he hasn't had time. So, why? It's absolutely true. That your listener has a very good point there, and it's really something that really should have gone into very that particular thing, because it's so essential. It should have been a major focus of what they did.
Mm.
All right,
so with everything being so like,
I'm trying to rant here. Go ahead.
So with everything being so like questionable and tainted and all this craziness is going on, how can he get a fair trial?
Well, it's going to be difficult. There's two things that really bother me. This is why I came out with this stuff. If anybody thinks that Greenberg is just going to go away, that he's not going to try to do a lot of stuff.
He's already started doing some undercut stuff, bringing up the Mr. Farinella's background information and things like that. That was dirty. That was really a low blow.
Oh yeah, I agree. Look at and trying to say that because he doesn't have federal experience, that somehow he's inferior or not. He shouldn't be trying this case because the almighty federal defense bar is. Hey, you don't have murder cases in federal court. You have murder cases and double murder cases and quadruple murder cases in state court. And Farinella did a lot of state criminal cases. And so what you're going to find is that 95% of the cases that go to federal court are guilty pleas. So there's not a lot of trial. And those that go to trial, they're white collar crime and accounts and bank fraud and wire fraud. They're not really street crime. Rape, armed robbery, burglary, murder. The big five. So the guy that having that state court experience may actually be better than having federal criminal court experience.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, just think about it, right? You don't see you don't see murder cases being tried in federal court. And murder cases are like, the death penalty cases, except for terrorism, don't get tried in federal court. They get tried in state court.
Okay.
And those are very, very, complex in cases that take a very good lawyer, it's good trial experience, and Farinella has that. Now, I know that he doesn't have the, he's not flamboyant or, doesn't have the, doesn't walk around in front of the cameras, saying, hey, look at me, like Greenberg does. But sometimes I always think of Columbo, right? I think he's a very smart guy and a very hard-working guy. and he knows what's got to be done. And Nicole is his co-counsel is a smart, very smart lady, and also a very ethical and very diligent lawyer.
Mhm.
But way I understand it, I don't know this for a fact, but I've been told that they wanted to file things and do things, but Greenberg had prevented them
Yeah, I heard
from
that
filing
too.
things.
I heard that too.
Well, that would make sense to me, because I'm going to tweet something, after we're off the phone, that where after I got off the Peterson case with him, and he had taken it over by making bullshit promises to Peterson about getting his case overturned. It turned out not to come true, which I knew couldn't come true. I told Peterson that. But a lawyer that was under him wanted to file some essential affidavits that Greenberg didn't want.
Mhm.
And I got a copy of the text message that he sent this lawyer.
Yeah, I was reading it. I was reading it to the live just a few minutes ago.
I gave it to someone.
Yeah, and it was cussing that person out, F-bomb.
Threatening him. I'm going to take you, never work and practice again. I'm going to destroy your career. That's, so if he acts like that in 2013, it's kind of believable. It makes it more believable that he prevented other lawyers from filing motions in Kelly's case. Like I said, again, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying that this document, his past behavior, would lend credence to that accusation. And it's certainly, so, but what, why would he? Prevent them from filing necessary motions? I can give one. I can speculate if you'd like.
Speculate.
Okay. Well. All right. Okay. I guess this is speculation based upon.
Speculation. This is speculation, not fact.
Yeah, speculation. No, not fact. It's speculation based upon, the facts that I know, but it's like I said, it could be true or not. Okay. He wants to be there at this trial, so the cameras can be pointed. Greenberg wants to be there, so so he can be the center of attention in a major case with cameras pointing at him and him pontificating and showing how wonderful and smart and superior, Ubermensch, that he is,
So he
That's
really's
what-
not trying to get out. He's just trying to act like he's
Right.
getting out. Okay.
Right. So, if either A, Kelly's out of prison and has access to, out on bond, has access to other lawyers, or the case somehow gets weakened substantially, or a significant piece of evidence gets thrown out, then where a decent plea deal could be made, then he doesn't get his chance. So in his mind, he's going to want the case to go. He's going to want the case to go to trial, because the fact that, like with Drew Peterson, the fact that the guy spends the rest of his life in prison doesn't really matter to him, because once that guy is out of view, he disappears from this narcissistic point of view. So he has no empathy. So let him go. That's one reason. I may be totally wrong. I'm just speculating based upon, some facts that we have. And that's one conclusion. There's other ones, but that's one. The reason I kind of came out, because I've had this stuff a long time, is when I saw what he was trying to do, take over the case in this underhanded way by demeaning good people for no reason, other than that they might somehow take a small portion of the spotlight or something. I thought that was horrible. And then when I looked at the docket, I was like, this is unacceptable. You're ruining this. This man's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. This is not a joke.
Yeah.
So, one of the last things I did before I stopped practicing was, there was a client of mine by the name of James Gibson, who had been tortured by the Chicago police. A guy named commander called John Burge, who ran what they called the Midnight Crew, and the precinct he practiced out of, they nicknamed the House of Screams, just to give you an idea what type of guy he was. It sounds like a horror show, and it was. But he was tortured into making a statement, and then up being sentenced to life in prison without parole for double murder he didn't commit. And I went in. He had been there 25 years when I came into his case, and it took me 5 years, and 2 trips to the appellate court, but we got him exonerated and declared innocent. One of the last things I wrote in my second brief, second appeal, at the end of it was like, look, this is, we're going through all these legal niceties and all these, burdens of proof and evidence and whether something's admissible or not. At the end, they said, look, in the long run, this is a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And there's clearly, these cops have been found to have tortured dozens and dozens, literally 60 or 70, mostly African-American young men, into making statements that when they weren't guilty. And, where there's smoke, there's fire, and if nothing else, you can't let a human being die in jail on evidence like this.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how I felt. And when I look at Kelly, like I said, I don't know if he did it, if he's guilty, he's guilty, he's innocent, or there's extenuating circumstances, or things are never black and white as they seem. That's for sure.
But my question is,
he should get a fair trial.
My
He's
question,
not going to get a fair trial.
Yeah, Joel. My question is, if they feel that they have enough evidence and all this that he's guilty, why are you planting somebody? You have somebody we're recording. You have all of this that's being done. What's the purpose of it if you felt he was already supposedly?
First of all, the feds, they love overkill. It's there's no such thing as too much tape or too much evidence. They live, like I said, if everybody, you want to know how you can put the federal courts, the federal criminal justice system, you can be ruined and you can be destroyed in one day. All that has to happen is every defendant demand trial.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it.
That's why they mad at him too, because he's demanding trial.
Well, they don't like that too, that's for sure. But if everybody demanded trial, the system would collapse in a night.
Uh-huh.
And they only way they exist is that they get 95+% of the people to plead guilty. And the reason they get 95% of the people to plead guilty is that everybody says you can't beat the feds.
Yep.
If they indict you, they got you. Plead guilty. Make a deal. Okay? Right? I mean, that's what they say.
Uh-huh.
So when they take a case, when they prosecute a case, they do not want to lose. That friend that I told you about, who I was talking to on Friday night about this case, first of all, he was telling me how the U.S. attorneys over at in Chicago were kind of like hysterically laughing about what was happening to Greenberg. They thought it was hilarious that he was fucked up the case so bad. Now he got fired, and they know who he is. So, but also it's this guy. All right, he's done approximately 230, 240 federal jury trials. I mean, it's amazingly high amount over almost a 35-year career. That makes federal, but I mean more federal juries than anybody since the Second World War. All right, and you know how many he is one of the winningest of those federal jury trials. He's one of the most winningest federal trial lawyers there are.
Really?
As far as jury trial goes. Yeah, but you know how many that won?
How many?
5.
5?
Yeah, that's considered having a winning record in federal court. Okay. Okay. And the reason is that they go for this. They get they get more and more evidence. They get so much evidence that's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I remember one case I tried there. It was two brothers. They were doing, there used to be the food stamps, but then they started with the cards where you swipe. Link card fraud. Two Arab brothers, they had a restaurant. Okay. And we were like, I took a bench trial and took a jury. And we were like, 4 days through it. We had a decent judge. He actually would find somebody not guilty. And we were like 4 days into it. And it looked like, for one of the brothers, it looked like I was going to win. One was going to go down. But the other guy, it really looked like we were going to win. And as soon as the government saw that, they would usually wheel in with 3 or 4 cartons of, or carts full of evidence and documents. On the 5th day, they came in with 10. Basically, they were fighting me with one hand tied behind the back. And when they saw there was a chance they might lose on one of the brothers, they just brought the other arm around, and they just creamed us. It's the federal government. We're talking, guys that can write a check for $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're up against a very, very, the difficult, foe.
Mm-hmm.
But, the problem is that there's one thing that you have on your side that the government doesn't, and that's the jury.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important. If anybody listening ever serves on a jury, hold the government to their burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, And, but that's why it was so important that, this whole idea of the jury being sequestered
Mm-hmm.
and the jury being, partial, anonymous. And
I got a question for you, Joel.
Was so essential.
I don't need to cut you in, but I got a question for you.
Sure.
We've been flying, because we're supporters over here of Robert, right? We've been flying banners and all that. Someone came out and said that basically that they can sue Robert and Robert's attorney because we're flying banners.
Where are you flying banners?
No, because we're flying banners in New York, and the plane banners.
I mean, look, I'm not in a position to give legal advice.
No. Your opinion.
I mean, we still, at least, until I saw this recent thing with Twitter and Facebook banning people, we live in a country where it's still the right of free speech.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the only thing that I've ever come across regarding, let's put it this way. By going back to, once again, the Peterson case 10 years ago, they were actually protesters. They were anti-Peterson, pro.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did is they couldn't come on courthouse property. They had to be across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently, and the rule being that, the government, the government and the courts control speech, and within the on courtroom, they used to call the courtroom steps, but in the courtroom, in the courthouse property.
Yeah, but the banner's being flown in the air.
Over the courthouse property?
No, over there by we did it from the Hudson River and back over. It wasn't over the courthouse. Like it was like near Jersey and things like that. It was never on the court.
I mean, I never heard of anything like that. So
I know.
But I mean, it's like I said, I can't give. I'm not in a position to be giving legal advice.
I know.
I mean, I know what people are gonna say, Brodsky. I got suspended 2 years. But look,
no legal advice. I'm just having a conversation.
I'm just telling you what happened to me was, and you can ask almost anybody other than the people that didn't like me, that were complained about me. That what happened to me was more political than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just told you about Cook County, and I'm obviously, I speak my mind, and so it was more political. I mean, but they can take it for what they want. It doesn't really matter.
So what do you get? Do you get your license back, or they took it forever?
No. I can get it back. It's I got to wait another month or so before I can apply. But right now I've actually started working on on a Hollywood. We actually got an offer from a major streaming network for a six-part series, and we're trying to do all the get all the I's dotted and T's crossed and everything, ducks in a row, all that sort of fun stuff, so we can start. Which is a lot more work than I thought it was. But no, so I'm thinking of just, if we get everything, we got the offer, we just got to finish the checklist. If we get that, we get funded and we're off shooting. And if we do that, I might like stay in the entertainment business. I think it's I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more fun, and certainly trust me, a lot more money than the legal business, and the people are a lot nicer to deal with. So it's so I may not reapply it. I don't know, because I mean, who wouldn't rather live in San Diego and travel around and shoot stuff, shoot movies? I mean, sounds like a lot better than trucking down to 26 in California and doing an armed robbery case.
I think they have some more questions. Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to see the question. Guys, I missed some of you guys' question. Hold on.
Patient like I used to.
You know what? I'm gonna put the link in. Maybe they could come in and ask the question, because me trying to read this is not good. Hold on, I'm putting the link in for them to come in.
So when my movie comes, if we get to, it better come out, because I put a lot of time into it. But if I get that, I'll come out and promote it with you, okay?
Okay, sounds awesome.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
I'm trying to, I missed a lot of questions. I missed a lot of questions because I was,
What do they call it? Tiger King, that one movie that went viral a year ago, Tiger something or other, with Netflix. It wasn't My Deals, it went Netflix.
What was the name of that movie?
Tiger something or other, right? The guy was a tiger keeper, and it went viral. Yeah, maybe it'll be I'm hoping it'll be the next Tiger King. Then I can. I certainly won't have to go back to the law guy. Well, anyway, yeah. Please ask any questions.
Okay, yeah. Guys, come in. We're spitting fire. Trying to get them to come in so they can ask the question, because a lot of questions went by me and I couldn't see. Let's see. All right, there's a question. It says, ask him when he's tweeting, why does he tweet himself? What?
Why doesn't he? I'm sorry.
He said, ask him when he's tweeting, why does he tweet himself?
Why do I tweet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I used to tweet stuff again, about the mayor and the Chicago and the governor and all sorts of political stuff, which is what, like I'm saying, that's what got me into trouble. I was a small part of helping get Rahm Emanuel decide not to run for re-election. I don't know. Some people tell me I was a larger part, but I know at least a small part of it. So I know how to make powerful enemies, apparently. So I just would tweet that type of stuff. So I tweeted this stuff. I didn't really know how it would take off, but apparently it went. Maybe Twitter will give me that little blue check mark.
Blue check. How many followers do you have now?
I don't even know. They're coming on like left and right. I never had so many. So how many do I need?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't have a blue check, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll monetize me. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Well, maybe I can get one of the. What I really like is to get one of the channels to have me come and do commentary during
I would love for you to do commentary during the trial. You could do it over here.
Yeah, but I was hoping to get somebody that would actually pay me.
Wait a minute. I don't know about payment.
Like CNN or NBC.
Well, okay, it's about them. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, wrong channel for the payment.
No, one of those people with money,
Okay.
I think what do they call it? Adjusted. What do they call it? Is there still court TV? I don't even know. But we're not one of those channels that cover trials. So what the. What the hell? I mean, that would be fun. I'd enjoy that.
Okay.
You know, it's always better to be the critic than it is to be the actual person doing the work.
Exactly. It says, okay, let's see. See. Any question, guys? He's here to answer whatever question you guys have.
Sure. You know, I mean, I've been ranting a long time. So, you know, I've got other stuff I'm going to tweet out apparently. So, because I want to get more. So,
So you're not afraid he's going to come after you?
Hey, like I said, Stevie, come on. Sue me for slander, man. Tell me what I've said that's not true. Factually, any factual allegation that I made that's not true. Come on, baby. Sue me. Let's let a jury see if it's true or not, man.
They have a question about in regards to the judge.
I don't know her well. I know her. I know she was a a state court criminal judge before she went to the federal bench, which is probably why it wasn't really a good idea for Greenberg to say you're only a mere state court criminal practitioner, because that's where she came from. But, you know,
well, they wanted to know if they can get her off the case.
Actually, I mean, federal court, you know, not unless there's, you know, an actual conflict of interest. But no, generally speaking, not. But, you know, hey, it's not the judge, it's the jury.
It's not the judge, it's the jury.
It's a jury trial. It's the jury that decides guilt or innocence.
Not the judge.
Yeah. So, you know, judge just makes evidentiary rulings, which is why you do the motions in limine and the motions to suppress, so you know what evidence is going in before you get to trial. So, but once again, getting back to why nothing was done.
So is it too late to get that stuff done now? Since he's like
in two months? Yeah. No, there's no way. Not gonna. No, it is too late. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the problem is this: you look at the docket and you'll see that the judge set deadlines for motions like that, and those deadlines are passed. They're doing jury instructions right now, and you know, so we're past that, and that's unfortunate. Now, you know, the issues. Then comes issues with ineffective assistance, and whether this ineffective assistance is so prejudiced the trial, and you know, of course, then you know, Farinella and Nicole, and there's another lawyer that has an appearance in there but isn't active in the case. What's
I know who it is. That's the one in
New Jersey.
I know which one you're talking about. That's the one in Illinois, because he's pretty quiet.
No. Well, let me see, because I got the docket here. Hold on.
Which you're looking at the But remember, Doug is no longer on there because he had his it was removed.
Doug Anton.
Yeah, if you look at it, see at the bottom right there, it says terminated as of October.
Yeah, but I had heard that he is still like.
He's working on the civil case on the other side.
Yeah, but that he's still somewhat advised. Maybe because he didn't want to, because when Greenberg stopped motions from doing things that should have been done, he decided that he better withdraw. But he's still been in the back. I don't know. I'm speculating. He's been in the background, but you know.
So what about Michael? What do you think about Michael Leonard?
I don't know him very well, but you know, look at he's if he likes Greenberg, there's something wrong with him. You know, like we used to talk about all the guys, you know, like 4 lawyers. I mean, I guess with Greenberg was so horrible that I would feel like when we were doing that trial, I actually had to make up a seating chart. Because, you know, he was getting into, and we had him sit in front because people couldn't stand to sit next to him. You know, there used to be a saying, is that you had to know Steve is to hate him. But it's, but in any event, you know, okay, if Anton's out or whatever, maybe he's in the background, but unfortunately, you know, I mean, really, That's okay. One of the, let me tell you just a little story. There was a lawyer that tried a lot of federal cases in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and guys used to, be recommended to hire him, but he never really won a case. But he could make a really great record. Preserving all these errors and all these motions that would, bring up points and that they would be preserved for appeal. And he'd make a really great record. And then when his convictions got appealed, they got overturned a really high percentage of the time. The convictions got overturned on appeal. So it's really important for a lawyer at the trial level to really preserve a really good record for the appellate court and to make sure all errors and problems are preserved and properly packaged, so to speak, so that the appellate court can review it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important, I think, and Tom and Nicole seem to be the type of people who are, smart enough and got enough, much attention to detail that they know how to do that, how to properly preserve the record for appeal, because this issue of not doing anything for all this time and all these deadlines have passed is something that an appellate court is gonna, it's really a good issue for an appellate court to take a look at and say that, yes, you have an illiterate guy who really is limited on how he can communicate. In these particular circumstances, the lawyer not doing a good job is, maybe ineffective assistance even before the trial that so prejudiced the trial as to make it constitutionally invalid. And that's something that they have to do. I can't give them advice on how to do it, but
Yeah.
that's something that they'll know how to do. It's not rocket science. You file a motion, continuance, and you set out all these different factors and show why. The judge denies the motion, then of course, the problem is that all this damn time is being eaten up with this stupid stuff where Greenberg should have just withdrew. And
So now, okay, what is this this whole thing what is that name of that thing, sir? Whatever that hearing they're having, what is that all about?
oh yeah, see, okay. There are different names for different jurisdictions. We call it in Illinois, it's called a Krankel hearing or something. All right. And if there's an issue that the judge wants to make that's usually it comes up in a conflict of interest. Sometimes it comes up in issues, other issues. Maybe some of the Greenberg wrote this letter to the judge, and it's under seal, thank God. And we have no idea what's in it. And we probably shouldn't, because I'm sure there's, like Greenberg did to me, he wrote a letter that was, 5 pages of lies. I mean, literally stuff that made up out of whole cloth. I sued him for slander. He's just horrible stuff. So, God only knows what he put in there. And the judge may have read it and say, well, I don't know if any of this stuff is true, but I want to make sure that, Mr. Kelly is aware of this stuff, or if any of it's true, and that if it is true, that he doesn't, he's aware of it and he still wants to go with these lawyers, which is exactly what Greenberg's game is.
Uh-huh.
He wants to get Kelly confused and say Kelly's going to go, wow, I didn't know that, and maybe it's not true, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and make him confused and stay with him so that he can be in the limelight and have the spotlights. That's his game. That's why he wrote that letter. And because look, it's funny, you're talking about my suspension. One of the things that they yelled at me for was that I got fired in the case, and I took longer than 5 days to file a motion to withdraw. I took like 8 days, and they said that was too long. Now Greenberg was fired 2 weeks ago, and he still hasn't withdrawn, and he's not in trouble.
Wow.
So, well, but it was ridiculous what they did to me. But that just goes to show you that it really wasn't. Well.
So okay, so
it was, for me, it was political. There was a lot of politics involved in my stuff. They were looking for anything, for lots of reasons that have nothing to do with what I was accused of. But be that as it may, you know, I mean, when you get fired, you're supposed to just withdraw. That's the client's choice, right? I mean, you know, it's not, you know, it's not, you don't get to say the client's making the wrong decision. If the client's making the wrong decision, that's the client's problem, not yours. You know, he gets to make, you know, he's a grown adult. He gets to make his decisions. So, but this is what great. He's stirring up the mud. He's making it muddy, and he's making it confusing, and you know, burning up precious time when these guys need to be preparing for a major trial that a man's, you know, basically whether or not he dies in prison is the issue, and it's you know, it's a game. You know, he's making it a game, and it's not a game. It's a man's life. And, you know, like I said, I'm not taking sides. I don't know what happened. I just think he's entitled to a fair trial. So, you know, it's really, you know, sad. It's real sad. You know, they need to make a good record, preserve all this stuff for the record, and take, you know, go tell the judge that they need to. Unfortunately, you know, Mr. Kelly's in jail while this is going on, but, you know, at least do some of these basic things that need to be done, you know, so that he can have a fair trial. You know, it's just really sad that 2.5 years had to get eaten up to get to this point. You know, I mean, the MCC in New York is not supposed to be a very nice place. Or Chicago, I mean.
Yeah.
It's like being locked up in a concrete condo.
Yeah.
Literally, I've decided it's a horrible place. Not as bad as New York. The one in New York, I understand, but it's still bad enough.
Yeah, but
You know?
2 years almost in there.
Yeah, can you imagine being locked up in basically a bare concrete,
Yeah.
you know, condo? You know, maybe how big are those cells? You know, maybe 12 by 8 for 2.5 years.
Okay, what is ex post facto? Somebody just put
Ex post facto. Yeah, I mean, that's a law that relates backwards. In other words, you know, you did something on day 5, and then on day 10, they pass a law that says it was illegal on day 2, and forward. So it's a law that, you know, declares something illegal that wasn't illegal at the time you did it, pretty much. Or not pretty much, exactly. That's why, you ever hear of Sir Walter Raleigh?
No.
The English, you know, Queen Elizabeth I, that the guy that threw down his cloak so she could walk over the puddle. Anyway, so okay. I'm sorry. I was brought up on the classics. I'm sorry. Anyway, he was a time of Queen Elizabeth I, you know, the Spanish Armada and all that sort of good stuff, and 1500. And anyway, he's the reason it was because after she died, had a lot of enemies in her court, and so they passed a law that made something illegal that wasn't illegal when he did it, and so they chopped off his head. And everybody was so appalled by that, they made it part of the English common law that you couldn't pass a law, and that was an ex post facto law. And so that's where it came from. But
so does the new law affect Robert with the ex? This is what they say.
Well, it depends. You know, that's a good question. You can't be substantive. In other words, you can't create a crime, but you can do it. You can do an ex post facto administrative, like sentencing, a rule that's not substantive. Like you can't make something criminal that wasn't criminal, but you can pass some sort of, you know, rule or regulation that applies to something that happened before. It's kind of gets a little bit technical at that point, but you know, it's like a rule of evidence, for example. You know, if you pass a new rule of evidence, that can apply ex post facto, but you can't make something a crime ex post facto relating back. It's kind of complex. It gets a little bit. That's kind of inside baseball lawyer stuff, but it's. You know, I didn't know they're trying to do something like that in Kelly's case.
They trying to ask, who are you? So could you give them a little bit synopsis of who you are? Because a lot of people's asking, who is on the phone? Who's on the phone?
My name is Joel Bresky. I practice law in Cook County for Illinois for 37 years, and tried over 100 juries. And one of my cases I did was a guy named Drew Peterson, a Bolingbrook police officer who been found guilty of killing his third wife, disappearing his fourth wife. And, it was a very big case back then. And my co-counsel in that case was Steve Greenberg, who did to me, to a great extent, what he's trying to do to Farinella and Nicole. I think her name is Becker, right?
Blank Becker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, trying to do the same underhanded, dishonest crap he did to me. And so I'm a kind of a record keeper. I keep copies of everything and scan everything. And so I thought I'd expose what he is and what he's doing. Especially when I saw how he had, when I saw that, the horror that he did absolutely nothing that needed to be done in Mr. Kelly's case. No motions to suppress, no motions to eliminate, no motions for advancement of 3500 material, no motions to dismiss, no motions regarding what they call res judicata, which means they can't do something where you're acquitted against you in a subsequent case. All these basically, things that, where any should have been done. There's no, they're required. And
can I ask you a
early
question?
return of subpoena. I can't think of. There's probably a dozen motions.
Can I ask you a question, Joel?
Sure.
When did you find out he was working on Robert case? Was it when he first started?
Yeah, I remember Greenberg, when he first got indicted in Cook County.
So why didn't you say something then?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. He just was representing the guy, and there were other lawyers helping, and
okay, gotcha.
I didn't know that he was preventing them from supposedly, allegedly preventing him from filing motions and not doing anything, and or that maybe he was just, he had brought in guys that were doing the work, and he, was just sitting. I had no idea. I wasn't following the case.
Okay.
All I know is that when he did hire him, I was thinking to myself, I go, oh, he's going to be sorry for doing this. But, other than that, there's nothing really I could do. But at this point, I think you guys really need to, people that support Mr. Kelly, if that's the way you feel, if you support him.
We support him 100,000%. Mm-hmm.
If you support him, or just support his right to a fair trial.
That's what we support, the right to a fair trial.
Yeah. Tom, Farinella, and Nicole Beck, they need your support.
Okay.
They're not. I had another high profile case after Peterson, so I got a little experience. I came with it. It was a cop shooting case called Bob Rialmo, and so there's a lot of media on that. But I knew how to handle it at that point. But when I first went through it, it was overwhelming. It really was. It was intimidating and overwhelming. And that's what I'm sure Tom and Nicole, having a lot of, trouble, or not trouble, maybe it's the wrong word, but are probably being overwhelmed with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting a lot of people who are probably a lot of haters out there.
Yeah.
And they're probably getting a lot of abuse from the haters, because the haters are really good at throwing abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But if they feel the support of people that support Mr. Kelly and his right to a fair trial, or even just his right to a fair trial, if they know that those people are out there and support them, it's going to really make a difference in the way that they are. It's going to help them more than you can know.
Okay.
A few kind words and and knowledge that there's people supporting them, it's going to change. It's going to have a major effect, because when I would get kind words when I was doing that, it made night day. It really did. So please get out there and show them your support for those two guys, that they do a good job as best they can to make sure that all the evidence gets out and everything is examined and contested, and he gets a fair trial. Just give them your support, and and that hey, and that Greenberg just hey, you were fired, and just like Donald Trump said, you're fired, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's nothing really to argue about, and and that's what they need. That's what I would suggest. And I'll tweet a few more things tonight if I.
Because we were sharing the stuff that you put out, because we were pretty shocked. I did not know half of the stuff that you showed.
Oh, yeah, well, believe it or not, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, look, send it to me. I will put it out. Trust me, I will put it out.
Watch my tweet. Watch my tweets. I'll put it out. It's going to come out. I was just thinking. Remember I told you about that story about how he was, showing up in the morning and be on TV. I got a picture of that. Him and Beth Cares. I got. There's all sorts of wonderful. So I'll put out the rest of the trial transcripts from his divorce trial, which is funny to read.
Yeah, I have that too. I have that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, they send it to me. Mm-hmm.
Oh, read it. It's hilarious. The guy says, "Oh, you got all this cash," and I'm looking at your tax returns here, and your tax returns are only have $150,000, but you got $300,000 in cash here. Did you declare all your income? Oh, yes, I did. Well, what do you think? We can't fucking add? It's like it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's really funny to read. And then I think there's some court. I think I got some court orders where they're even funnier, and all this other stuff. So I'll get it all out there, and you guys can have a lot of fun reading it, because it's hilarious. I got his tax return, so up to 2014, I think. I got to redact stuff because but like Donald Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty about it is it's not really private because it all went into evidence at a trial. So it's basically public record. So why not?
Yeah. Hey guys, sorry, hold on a second, Joel. I missed questions, so can y'all repeat the questions again?
Oh,
so
geez, look at the time. Holy cow.
Oh, how many questions can we ask you before you go?
Give a couple. Give at least two. Go ahead.
Okay, two. Okay, give me two good questions before he leaves. Dom, he already answered the Darryl Johnson question already. He talked about it.
Yeah, I really don't know much personally about that guy. He just, I think, did he get arrested or something? I don't remember.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people looking for him because he conned a lot of people, a lot of money.
He took up with the cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen with cash.
It says, why do you think he think Greenberg has not been investigated? Why do you think Greenberg has not been investigated?
Once again, we're here in Cook County. That's where and in Cook County, for example, let me, where to put it? Okay, there's a guy who has been named a divorce lawyer who, I won't use his name, but who's probably been sanctioned and thrown out of courtrooms and done more things where judges have sanctioned him and appellate courts have said than you can imagine. I mean, he is just where he went crazy on people, just absolute lunatic, and nothing's never been investigated, and all sorts of accused of all sorts of financial improprieties and everything, and nothing's ever happened to him. And the reason why is because he took as his partner a retired appellate court judge. Okay, and they're split. So therefore, the appellate court gets 50% of whatever he got. All right. So welcome to my neighborhood. If you ever think yours is bad, Cook County, where I'm in Cook County, there's a lot of reasons he didn't get investigated. You know, but you know, it's not a level playing field here.
Okay.
So
But another person just asked about for being a private investigator. Can you be hired?
yeah, I hope so.
No, I'm saying, can you
Yeah,
be
yeah.
hired like from supporters that want to get stuff out about?
Well, I mean, they'd have to contact the guy that owns the agency, Mr. Hogan. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure Mr. Hogan would be more than happy to, you know, take the case and or you know do whatever, and you know, then he'll assign me to it. So you know, they got to contact you know, Hogan Investigative Services and.
So, do you
in
know
Cook
how much
County.
it costs? Is it a lot?
No. I mean, look. First of all, if you want to have an investigation,
Mhm.
it's got to be coordinated with the lawyers
Okay.
because you don't want people, you know, working at cross purposes.
Mhm.
You know, you know, your investigator uncovers something that the lawyers don't want uncovered for some strategic reason. So you don't want to. So you want to have it coordinated between the lawyers.
Gotcha.
But you know, this is not going to cost the lawyers any money. You know, and it's going to be coordinated. I wouldn't see why they mind. I'm sure they can use all the help they can get. But you know, they need to coordinate it through the lawyers. And then if the lawyers say okay, and you know, contact Mr. Hogan, and I'm sure, you know, I've never seen him turn down business. So you know. Well, you know, I'm sure he'd be happy to take the case.
Okay.
Or if you come to Chicago, we provide armed private security, you know, which you need in Chicago, apparently. We had, I think 40 people shot over the weekend. So,
Wow.
yeah, you're more, yeah, I'm telling you that. Why do you think I'm critical of the mayor? 40 people, literally. 10 at one sitting. Yeah, about Friday night. It was, and you're safer, literally, I did the statistics. You're safer in Kabul, Afghanistan than you are in Chicago.
Wow.
And they got everybody's got automatic weapons in Kabul. So, you know, go figure. But statistically, you're safer in Afghanistan than you are in Chicago. You're more likely to get shot in Chicago than in Kabul.
Wow.
Go figure.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's good for the armed private security business, though. You know? You know, as my years in the Army coming in good for something. Anyway, in any event, but you know, I appreciate talking. I probably rambled
will you come
longer than I should have.
Well, will
but,
you come back again if I again after the Thursday's meeting? Because they're having that hearing, so
yeah, I might even listen. I might even at this point listen in because I'm really curious. But look at.
Do you think you think they'll let us hear it this time, or is it going to be shut?
Well, you know, I know to some extent. I don't know what Greenberg put in that letter, and I'm sure it's full of. If he's consistent with what he did in Peterson, it's full of horrible lies, so I would kind of really hope that they would keep that private because you know, Tom and Nicole do not deserve to have their reputations, you know, trashed with lies splashed across the media. But generally speaking, other than that, it's supposed to be a open hearing. So I guess you can listen in, you know, because it's on the Zoom or something. I mean, it's I don't know.
Well, they didn't put a number on it, so I guess it's probably the same number they normally use then, huh?
Probably, I would assume so.
Okay.
But, you know, so, you know, if they can't listen in, we'll listen. If they're going to do it in person or in, you know, closed court, I have no idea.
They claim it was going to be in person, but it didn't say that in the court document. I didn't see it say in person.
You know, somebody call the clerk and find out.
You know I'm going to call her on Monday.
Yeah.
She's pretty mean. She's very mean, but I'm going to call her anyway.
Yeah, well, call the clerk. That's their job.
Yeah.
You know, but it's, you know, it's just, you know, it's going to be, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to talk afterwards. I'm really curious to see, you know, because, you know, Frenella is right in that letter he wrote. You know, Kelly is a grown man for sure. And, you know, he has a Sixth Amendment right to counsel of his choice, you know, and that's that's a constitutional right. That's just not some rule.
So can a judge force him to keep Greenberg?
No.
Okay.
But
there's a but. Okay, there's a but.
But
Okay.
that's not Greenberg knows that. That's his goal. But his goal is not to have the judge forced. His goal is to cause so much confusion with Kelly, and so much, so many issues with Fernella and Nicole, that he ends up staying, to confuse the issue. I mean, in Peterson, he actually signed a document firing him that was filed in court, and he was able to get around that by causing confusion and doing all this garbage that he's trying to do now. He's following the same script, and and what I can keep saying is that Tom and Nicole, need to know that people out there supporting them, and that'll give them the strength to persevere through this.
Okay.
And come out on the side where they don't have a lawyer, where Elise Kelly doesn't have a lawyer that's working against, that's been a fact, working against them. And they'll have two lawyers for sure that really care about what happens to him. They'll care that he gets a fair trial.
Yeah.
And they'll work hard to provide him with one, which is what I guess it's all about, really.
Yes,
So,
that's true.
yeah. All right. Anyway,
Well,
it was nice
thank
talking
you
to
so
I hope
much.
I haven't-
We appreciate you coming out here, and definitely I'll be keeping
Remember,
in
none of
contact
that's
with
legal
you.
advice, by the way.
No, it's not
Okay?
legal advice. It's you having a conversation with some friends.
Right. I'm not giving anybody legal advice. It's
Exactly.
just my opinions as a non-practicing lawyer and
Just conversation.
investigator. Yeah, you got it. So nobody take advice and do something because of what I said.
But thank you so much, Joel. I appreciate you returning my call. I appreciate everything you're doing. So I'll keep in contact with you.
Okay, take care.
All right. Bye, Joel.
Bye.
All right, guys. Told y'all I was going to get him. You're welcome, people. You're welcome. So, this is what it's all about, y'all. This is what it's all about. Okay, sorry guys, I gotta so remember we have Judge Joe Brown is gonna be here Wednesday. I hope you guys got a chance to really understand some of the stuff that's going on. Okay, so we're gonna keep it going, y'all. We're gonna keep rolling because God has given us the strength. Prayer warriors tonight. We're doing oh my God, I gotta get off because prayer warriors gotta go. We gotta pray. A midnight prayer. Damn good. Oh, you're welcome, Champel. Guys, I'm gonna have to go. It's been really good. Don't forget, Judge Joe Brown is gonna be on the live on Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm gonna come back because we gotta go ahead and do our banner. And you heard him, y'all. It is not illegal to fly a banner. It is not illegal to fly a banner. It's a constitutional speech of what did he just say? He says the right speech, right? That's what he said. The right, you know what I mean. It's part of our amendment. It's part of our amendment. But remember he said to give Nicole and Tom your full support, y'all. Full support. Give them your full support. Be there for them and lift them up. Pray for them. Encourage them. Send them some good vibes and try to shun out the haters that are hating on them. Okay, because it's really hard already. They're already fighting a fight that's really hard. So support them. And you heard what he said. You heard what he said. A state lawyer fighting criminal cases are more stronger than a federal one because federal people do not try because they really don't have the experience. They do most of their cases where they take plea deals. So you heard the one that had the top winning. They had what? 5 win, 5. And you know Nicole won a lot of more than 5. So all that scare tactic that the federal government is doing, they don't want to go to trial. They don't. Why do you think they're trying to do all this, get people to try to, get recordings and all that kind of, because they don't have enough. They're not equipped for trial. They're not equipped for it. They're more equipped with somebody taking a plea. That's why, remember, they offered him 3 years. So that means they really didn't have anything. So now you're making them work. You're making them work. All that bull that the other guy over there was saying. This is an attorney, a 37-year attorney telling you certain things that's going on. Even Judge Brown even said it. He said that 97% of people are in jail because they took plea deal. Only 2% goes to trial and they win. Only 2. That's a small percentage. So if Robert is doing the right thing. And he also said the jury is what basically, that's the best thing. But the only bad thing is that sequential jury, because he said that jurors tend to kind of get antsy when they have to be locked in. So, you got it, guys? Y'all got it? Y'all got it, y'all? Y'all got it? We got it. Okay. Support, support, support. Support, support, support. That is our job, y'all. Push out all the crap that's going on and support. Don't believe that mess that those other people, they're not lawyers, they don't know crap. Now you heard a judge say it and you heard an attorney say it. They know what's happening. They know the statistics and stuff like that. So stop believing that scare tactic that these people doing, telling you, okay? Support Nicole, support Nicole, support Thomas, okay? Give them positive vibe. We're here. Look, it's a whole bunch of us. I know half of these people that's in this chat is not for us. They're sitting here trying to be nosy, see what we're saying. But we had a real attorney who knows Steve's history, and he knows what's going on. So we got to go out there. We got to support, 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 support. Okay? Don't let them tell that whole plea thing, that scare tactic that grown boy was trying to tell you. Don't believe him. We got a real attorney that told you the truth. We had a real judge who's going to continue telling y'all the truth. Okay. So do not be what? God has not given us a spirit of fear. What? But what? A power and sound mind. That's what God has given us. Okay. Power and sound mind. Fear is only false evidence appearing real. So don't believe that crap. Don't believe that crap, okay? We got Judge Joe Brown coming on Wednesday. We're going to get the question in because I'm not reading the chat, okay? That was just a surprise. I reached out to him. He said he was going to contact me, and he did. And I thank God for him keeping his word. So he got on here, and he's going to come back afterwards, okay? So y'all, we got this. We got this. If we got to fly banners, whatever we got to do. I know Just Jazz got some stuff going on. Spitting Fire got some stuff going on, y'all. We're in here. We're in this together. We got to do this, y'all. We got to do this. We all Robert has. We all he had, okay? We can't be allowed. Don't allow these people to scare you. See where he's going? He's going to jail. So don't let him scare you. None of these people. All these ones talking all this crap. Robert has already been dealt something unfair. So now we got to get on our knees. Prayer warriors, you got to get on your knees. You see what God is doing? Get on your knees. Get on your knees. On your knees. Stay on your knees. That's how we're going to fight this battle. That's how God is bringing people like Joel and people like I can't remember the person's name, but those people, he's bringing them out the woodwork. They weren't there 2 years ago. You know, it seems like we're losing, but it's not over till God said it's over. We can do this. We got enough strong individuals in this chat. Prayer, pray. That's the most powerful thing we all can do is pray. Exactly. Stay on our knees. Pray. Okay, Spitting Fire, could you come and give us our final benediction? Let me. All right, Spit. Click that thing. Click that thing. But see, they don't understand. They don't understand when you pray. God opened up those heavens, y'all. He didn't say for us to be super perfect, because we're not. Y'all know we ain't perfect now, none of us. But we're willing to ask him to intervene. That's what we've been doing. That's what prayer is all about. Communicating. They got my benediction person. Hold on. There you go.
You know I was gonna talk my stuff, right?
We can't hear you. Too low, ma'am.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear
You
me
low.
now?
Why is your phone so low?
It's not my phone.
Okay, I hear you now.
You can hear me now?
No, you low now.
Wait a minute. You guys hear me now? I got on my microphone.
Come closer to the microphone. Put it in your mouth.
See, you know the words you're using is not good. Okay, stay on your knees. Put it in your mouth. You know what I mean? Okay. Ooh. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Why do you sound so low? What's wrong with your mic?
I don't know what's wrong with my mic.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can go out and come back in.
Okay. Rena, y'all girls, y'all know what we got to do. The midnight hour. Midnight hour. Yes, they go my prayer warriors. They're coming up in here now. There they come. They know it's that time. I got to send them the link. I got to send my prayer warrior. They coming up in the chat. I see them coming up because they know 12 o'clock midnight's coming in. My prayer warriors, we got to go behind the scene, pray in secret, and then God rewards us openly. That's what we do. Pray in secret, and he rewards us openly. Because when we were praying on the live, those folks was acting up, and, they were probably praying against us. You know what I'm saying?
Can you hear me now?
Now you worse.
I'm worse.
Rena said the freaks come out. Well, y'all, can't stop praying, y'all. Cannot stop praying. You got to believe, trust God, because right now, the battle's not over till God says it's over. The battle's not over. The battle is not over. You know what? Now I understand why these people have been attacking me, because they knew God was going to give me favor. He was going to give me favor inside of man, where people will come on this channel and say things that's going to make a big difference. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why they try to tear my character down. That's why they try to tear me down. They try to put all this negativity, lies about me, because they knew God was going to give this channel favor. Let me tell you, Cha prophesied to me last year when she first met me, and she told me that God was going to use me in a mighty way. And I never knew that I was going to get in contact with people. Like, come on now, Judge Joe Brown. I talked to him on the telephone, me, Sylvia, little old Sylvia, and people just coming about on this channel. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a God thing. God is doing, not Sylvia, God. Nobody but God. And that's why they try to taint. That's why they try to make me look like the bad person. And if you notice, all these channels have been talking negative about me, and I have not said anything. I don't even know half of these people that talk terrible things about me. I don't know them. And I'm not going to talk negative about them. Only for one person I'll, tell the truth about. But all these other people, I ignore them. I don't have to deal with them because I don't know them. They don't mean anything to me. They don't matter. But I see my face on their community channel. I see myself in a cartoon. I see them. I mean, it's just like, what is it about Sylvia that they come and attack me? I'm a noble. Well, I'm somebody to my children and to my husband, but I'm saying on this YouTube world, I'm just a regular Joe, Jane, Jack, whatever. But for some strange reason, you see how they always attacking me for some strange reason. That's what you call favor. Favor is not fair. When God gives you favor, it's not fair. And then people get jealous of God giving you favor. Trina also prophesies to me. She prophesied. And it lined up with what one person said one thing to me, and then another person said the same thing. It's like they don't even know each other, and what they said was the same thing. It was kind of like scary. And then to me, I don't feel like I'm adequate because number one, I'm a crybaby. Number two, I have a lot of issues, y'all. A lot. You get what I'm saying? And then that's why I was like, I have people like who stands up for me when I can't stand up for myself. You know, like my darling sister Randa and my Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Those people know the type of person I am. I'd rather you beat me up than me fighting you. That's the way I am. That's just me. And God placed individual will like go on the attack for me when I won't fight for myself, but he put that little pit bull Randa in the way, just like boom, 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 boom. They do one thing, Randa's going after them, boom, 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 boom. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I give him the glory. I give him the glory. Where's this girl at? What? Spitfire, where'd you go? Because y'all know once I start talking, I'll be crying in a minute. That's just me. So I'm not going to talk no more because then I know myself. But y'all keep my baby in prayer. My darling sister Randa, pray for her, y'all. She's doing her thing. Just pray for her. Ask God to give her strength. Because, I mean, she's a pit bull, but she has feelings too, y'all. Pray for her. Ask God to continue to strengthen her. Because God gave me a wonderful little sister. Is she trying to get the mic to work? She gave me a wonderful little sister, I'm telling you. Because I know she got my back. If nobody else got my back, I know Randa got my back. Where'd she go? She's good. Nikki, she's good. She's just taking some time off away from this thing. Cause I was talking to Nakia today, and I was like, Nakia, I don't know. Cause I was even telling her, I said, Nakia, I don't even know if I'm going to the trial. Cause this is draining. I'm telling y'all, it's draining. You back?
I can't hear anything.
There you go. We hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you guys.
We hear you now.
I can't hear you.
We hear you.
I can't even hear you. Hold on.
We hear you.
I can't even hear you.
We hear you. Oh my God, y'all.
Okay, you can hear me now. Let me put on my headphones. I know, but I'm gonna put on my headphones so I can hear you because if I turn the speakers up, then you're gonna get feedback.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I think, yes, I can hear you. Okay. Okay. So I think that you know what, we delayed a little bit too.
No, it's you listening to that other thing.
I think that, you know what, we delayed. No, actually, you listening to the other thing.
Okay, so I think that okay, good, loud and clear. Okay, I think that it was a really good thing that you had this guy on your channel tonight to clear up some things that people were saying out here that wasn't accurate. It's, you know, one of the things that the guy was speaking on was about Nicole and them needing support. They're gonna need plenty of support. You know what I mean? They're gonna need plenty of it. I will try to get the physical addresses here for you guys to send to Nicole to let them know that you support her in this Robert Kelly situation or whatever. A lot of people are going to try to sabotage all this because of what you're doing. You're doing a very good job reaching out to people and people coming on, speaking on your platform. And that's really good, you know what I'm saying? Because we need people to speak up. We need people to go out and get people to speak up and things like that. We don't need all this infiltration and people trying to set up people. All that stuff is over with. This man finna go to trial. It's too late for all that. Whatever the people who's trying to set up didn't do all this time and was successful at it, they're not going to be successful at it now. You know what I mean? Because everything that they tried to do underhanded came to light one way or the other. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to let the courts know, like the gentleman you had on your platform, we're going to let the courts know that we want to make sure, and we're going to make sure that we, the people, this man going to have a fair trial. And anytime we think that things are not fair, we're going to raise some saying about it, from the judge all the way on down. You know what I mean? So they better do what they supposed to do. I don't care if the prosecutor is upset about going to trial and they try to throw overwhelming evidence. We're going to show so much support to Nicole and the other gentleman that whatever other, evidence they got, we're going to be willing to fight that too. We're taking it all the way. You know what I mean? And we, the people, going to stand right behind them all the way. You know what I mean? So we don't need, if we have to come together for them to get some assistance in any type of way, you know what I mean? We just have to dig in our pockets and do it. We just have to do what we have to do. Because one of the things that I did say, and I never thought that I would agree with him about, I was watching Angie live earlier today, and Roman said something real, deep. And I never thought that I would agree with him in any shape, form, or fashion. But he did say, that if we come out money, that they can be able to get what they want. And he right about that. And I've always said that, and you always said that. So it wasn't nothing that he said different than what we always been saying. But because he's the op and probably going away, he's now speaking the things that we're speaking because he has no, reason not to now. So I want everybody to know that I'm in this fight for the long haul with R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and some of the others that's going through this. And we here, you know what I'm saying? God picked us in this fight for the ones that get the word out, and he picked the subscribers for those who support us. So we need to support the lawyers for this fight so they can do what they need to do. And I mean, they got 2 months, but you know what? They're going to be ready. I believe they're going to be ready, and we're going to make sure they're ready. We're going to give them everything they need. We're going to let them know if there's anything that they need to let it be known. And I just think that they need to know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody trying to call them and record them and all that old crap and all that. So I'm going to definitely let her know, you know what I'm saying? Nobody can be talking to you on the phone because people record too damn much for me. So we just need to make sure that she's aware of that and all the tricks to the trade that they have been doing for the past 2 years. We let them know that because they infiltrated some other lawyers, but they won't get them. We're going to make sure of that. So that's what I wanted to say.
Did y'all read that? Look, Twin Fire.
They infiltrated some other lawyers, but they won't get them. Yeah. So,
Did you read this?
well, it is what it is.
Did y'all read that? Look.
Yeah, he tweeted them in. Yeah. So,
Did you read this?
well, it is what it is. Yeah, he said at Greenberg, let's get this interview done. You feel what I'm saying? So anything that is bad, but see, here's the thing. This is the thing that I was saying to people why I do what I do and I try to stay away from this channel, because the guy would do one thing and do another. I wouldn't waste my time doing that. You know, if you got a few days of freedom, you need to be spending it with your family. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Greenberg is the past. He's fired. You know, to try to filter the ones that were fired to get them to spill some dirt. That's just mean. That's just mean and just cold, downright dirty. It just ain't right. It just ain't right. You know what I mean? It's other things that certain people need to be worried about. But, you know, we can't stop that. We ain't going to focus on that. We're going to focus on what we got to do.
Hey, guess who? Guess who just who reached out to him? Dana J reached out to him.
Right. It just ain't right. You know what I mean? It's other things that certain people need to be worried about. But, you know, we can't stop that. We ain't going to focus on that. We're gonna focus on what we got to do.
Hey, guess who? Guess who just who reached out to him? Dana J reached out to him.
Right. This ain't right. You know what I mean? It's other things. Reached out to who?
To Joel. Dana J reached out to Joel.
Yeah.
Hey, guess who? He's trying to beat me. Y'all, come on, y'all. Look, Dom, get in here. Y'all, did you see that? I told him don't trust him.
I'm gonna let Dom come on. I mean, people need to be authentic and get their own thing going. Don't be piggybacking off somebody else. I'm gonna let y'all handle this stuff, because I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm gonna let y'all handle this. Is Dom K's expertise. Spitting fire ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm trying to keep that fella out of my vocabulary. I don't even want to speak on him. So I'm gonna let Dom K come in, and I'm gonna be out.
I bet you're gonna try to get Judge Joe too, right?
I'm trying to keep that fella out of my vocabulary. I don't want to speak on him. So I'm gonna let Dom.
Oh, y'all, can you believe that? Did he really think the guy would not tell me? Talk about favor. Favor's not fair. They up in the bushes, y'all. They up in my bushes. They don't want to come to prayer, but they're up in my bushes. Don, get your butt in here. They're up in my bushes. Look at it. That dude is a trip. Yeah, you know Judge Joe Brown will put him in his place. You know that, right? Jess, get in here. Jess, come on, y'all. Somebody get in here. Before I go to bed. I know I'm about to go to bed, right? Come on, y'all. Come on and get in here. They're in my bushes, y'all. They lurking in my bushes. They're trying to figure out how the heck she get into contact with this person. How the heck she get in contact with Judge Joe Brown? How the heck she get in contact with? It's called Favor of God. Okay, there go my boy. Hi, darling.
Yo. I can't. Say something, Sylvia.
I was just messing with you.
Okay.
Go ahead. I can.
Oh, okay. What's up, everybody? What's good? No, I saw the beginning of this what's up everybody in chat. I saw the beginning of this live, and I had to, I was coming in and out, so I wasn't really able. I have to go back to really start when the attorney came on to, and listen to it in its entirety. But I do think that from the parts that I heard and just asking a few questions and people answering what I've, in the chat, I personally think that this is a great thing, because I still was like lost of like where he came into, this attorney. I was completely lost. But now that I see the full picture, it makes 1000% sense. And I think that this is a very good thing for R. Kelly, because the reason why I say that is because, yes, of course, I think like the attorney said, Joel said that it is up to the judge to say no or whatever. But I think because it's the client saying that and he has a valid reasoning why he wants to do that, it's ultimately up to you. You can't just turn down their right to do that. And then not only that, the reason why I think it's very important is that is this, because if people have speculated over the couple years since Greenberg has been the attorney, and I've had my opinions, but I've never said them much. But as far as like, we could kind of pinpoint it, because it's like he wasn't filing motions to drop charges, he wasn't prepared on hearing dates, um just beefing with other attorneys. I mean, just all of that, and just in its entirety, not going to visit R. Kelly, saying that he only has 15 minutes with him, saying he's refusing to go to the MCC, like things like that is like, it was just red flag, red flag, red flag. But we were like, you know what? Well, I was like, you know what? That's his attorney. He chose that, and R. Kelly's not stupid. He chose him, and he has the power to fire him. And so that's why I never said nothing. But the reason why, like I said, I think this is important is that because now, with what I just said, with all those things that we kind of guessed, like, wow, like, we thought he was crooked, or people thought he was crooked, and then Daryl Johnson comes in who's scamming for money, and you put two and two together, right? Now that it's coming to the full picture, and then R. Kelly fires him, and then now he's coming out saying that these attorneys are mental and had disbars and or whatever, suspended, all these crazy accusations. It meant, the main one is like mental, and you're, incompetent to perform at trial, and all these crazy claims. It's like this, with this attorney Joel showing that, at least coming to the forefront, I can only pray that a major media outlet catches that, because if they catch that and that goes viral on the news, so I think people should spam, retweet, tag, post on Instagram, all that type of stuff, Facebook, because if that goes viral, that's going to only expose what type of guy or what type of attorney that Greenberg is. Because if he did that 10 years ago, some odd years ago, I mean, and he's doing essentially the same thing. And that's totally wrong. I don't know about the divorce thing. I don't know about all that. But as far as the attorney stuff, I think that's wrong, and that makes me question what was his motive on representing R. Kelly. That's just my thing.
I think that do you know about Jeffree Star? Jeffree Star was the first one who was one of the.
Can you guys hear me?
Now she's just low. We hear you, Dom. Jess, you low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear her, Dom? Dom. Okay, he's have his AT&T phone now.
I was saying Jeffree Star was the first lawyer for Robert. Now he's supposed to be I guess get a lot of plea deals. He's real close with the federal government. But remember, when he first came out, Greenberg pushed him back. And he got a background of beating federal cases. I don't know if y'all remember when Jeffree Star, y'all look him up. He was the first one that came out for Robert. He knew Robert for like 30-something years. And it was crazy when him and Robert's old lawyer, Sam, and them wanted to help, and Greenberg wouldn't even let them send the information to the jail to reach Robert. And I don't know if y'all know, it's not just Drew Peterson who Greenberg did wrong. He also was on the Alberto case. and got that man 12 years. And this is what I wanted to also tell you. I found out yesterday in the Drew Peterson case, right? In his evidence, the experts found out that his wife death was an accident. So when this divorce, I guess it was like a divorce counselor, they called her to the stand, which they shouldn't have called her to the stand because she brought up, I guess, the other wife's disappearance. But this the part that really got me. The district attorney on that case, when Greenberg got off that case, all of a sudden death threats. Well, the district attorney said that Drew Peterson put out a hit on him, right? But it reminds me of R. Kelly case, how all of a sudden this witness intimidation stuff started. Same thing with Drew Peterson case. Soon as Greenberg got off the case, then Drew Peterson also had another charge saying that he tried to murder for hire. And remember, they just started this murder for hire stuff on his YouTube. And it just seemed like I don't know. I might be thinking over crazy. Maybe I'm reading too many law books. I don't know. But and with Greenberg, with all the money laundering that he did, I think that's the reason why he's connected with the federal government. Because if the federal government exposed him for the money laundering, he'll go to jail.
He would be disbarred. That's a fact.
And he'll go to jail.
Of course, he would
So
serve
I'm
time
thinking,
for that.
did he make a deal with the government?
But this is the thing, Just. It's not only that you're making a deal, because in order to make a deal, they would have to charge you, right? And so what my thing is, that means I just watched a documentary on a drug trafficker, and he was dealing with he was working with the police, so they would never charge
They
him.
make side deals.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if he's paying somebody in the police department, things like that. I'm not saying he's doing that. I don't know that. I'm not going to confirm,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but I'm just saying that could be a way that someone would, evade getting caught up, or they could just say, look, he's an attorney. Like, he's a prominent attorney in the Chicago area or in Illinois, and he's good friends with.
Case, he has a history of beating no cases. I don't even know why he was transferred to Robert. Supposedly, Greenberg was only supposed to do the state case when it was the state charges came, but when the federal charges came, Robert didn't think about hiring another lawyer, so he stayed with Greenberg. But this man's history is crazy. Even look up the Alberto case for Stephen Greenberg. The man had a he was I think he worked as a nurse or something like that, and the older guy died, but it was proven in the evidence that the man didn't kill the guy. He was getting like surgery on his throat, and it got affected or something like that. But when he fired Greenberg, then it came back that evidence wasn't supposed to be presented, that Greenberg was taking pictures with the prosecutors and got this man convicted to 12 years. This not even a Drew Peterson case. That's why I'm like, he don't got a good record at all.
Okay, y'all finished? Y'all done? Hello? All right,
Yeah,
guys.
I think it's on a delay.
Oh, it's a delay? Well, I gotta go. It's prayer time. My prayer warriors are waiting on me, so gotta go.
Oh, Miss Sylvia, can you ask everybody if they in the Chicago or New York area, please, if y'all need flyers, can y'all please just contact Miss Sylvia? And if y'all live in the UK, y'all gotta send the shipping because it's out of the country, it's more, and I gotta put insurance on the package. But we need to get the flyers out as soon as possible.
You heard her. Get as soon as possible. Get the flyers out because she's been spending the money shipping it out to people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey guys, we gotta go. My prayer warriors text me and they told me it's time to go. All right, Dom. I'll see you later. Good night, everybody. Good night. Have a good one.